Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass, live and in living color here with you tonight, only on Grande's Graveyard. And yes, my friends, it is here, it is now, it is July, but not just any July. This is the J-Horror special in July, the Japanese horror special numero 6, only on the graveyard. And yes, my friends, I'm very excited here tonight because tonight for the J-Horror special in July, number 6, we have not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 Japanese horror movies to spin up on the Wheel of Torture. Yes, the Wheel of Torture has made a triumphant return to my graveyard, and my friends, no one is safe. What will be left of us, I don't know, but I'm very happy to have you all in the house in all seriousness. And yeah, no, I love doing these J-Horror specials. It's just like one of my favorite shows to do. I love going down to the local Japanese mart, getting some goodies, candies, things like that. This year, didn't do any candy, but we did get some chips. Yes, my friends, this is Japanese melty cheese pizza potato chips that we're going to try here on Grande's Graveyard. If you remember, I believe the last Japanese horror special that we did in January, I tried these. They were delicious. But then if someone in my household decided to eat the rest of the bag on me, so I didn't get to really enjoy them the way I wanted to. So my plan is to try them live on camera, and then after the show ends, to pig out and just crush this bag because these were delicious if memory serves. And we have a first time ever trying soda here tonight on Grande's Graveyard. This is ume flavored soda, which is a Japanese plum. And I'm very excited to take a look and try this out, the ume flavored soda here tonight on Grande's Graveyard. Well, this is a really, really, really tiny can. Like it makes me look like a fucking Andre the Giant when he was holding a fucking Budweiser. This is a really tiny ass can. Don't be fooled. Some things may appear smaller on camera. But this is a small ass thing of soda, so it is what it is. But we'll try this here on Grande's Graveyard tonight before we start spinning the wheel up. But I don't want to be rude to my wonderful people in the chat. We have a ton of people here already. Hello, Grande and Graveyard. I hope everyone affected by the wildfires in Ontario are doing well and staying safe. It's been pretty rough up here the last couple of days. Yeah, yesterday I walked out of the office and it was a night and day difference from just a few hours prior. Like I went out maybe at 3 o'clock and everything was fine. And then at 5 o'clock, everything it smelled like brimstone. It smelled like burning light. It was terrible. And it just looked like the sky lost all of its color. I was like, holy shit, how the hell did this happen? Like what a difference a couple hours makes, I guess. But yeah, no. And it's still very much rampant today. So yeah, I do hope everyone's staying safe and that whole thing. And it's a good time to be on the West Coast right now. The East Coast and Canada, they got nailed with this. But at least I'm now on a week vacation. Can't think of a better way to kick it off. Only on the graveyard. Hell yeah, man. Cheers to your vacation. We'll be drinking some ume plum flavored soda just a minute here to cheers you. Ciao, Grande Graveyard friends. I am ready for J-Horror Week. I watched some movies and I got thoughts and opinions on the ones I watched. Well, hell yeah. I know you were telling me that you watch Exte Hair Extensions and you also watch Ring Zero. So happy to have you in the house, Missy. That's a couple of the movies that we're going to be covering here tonight. The Wheel of Torture will decide when and where, though. We got Ryan Hanley, 253 in the house. Perfect timing. I just finished watching Perfect Blue. Oh, man, Perfect Blue. And I did review Perfect Blue earlier this year on the horror pop star special. That was a fun episode I did where I did Perfect Blue and Smile 2, which was a really fun episode of Grande's Graveyard. And it was the night that Britney Spears got arrested. So I take that as the biggest coincidence in the world, but also a badge of honor. Like Britney fucking got arrested the night of the J-Horror. I'm not the J-Horror, the fucking pop star horror special. When I did, like, what are the odds of that? Like the biggest fucking pop star of our time gets arrested the night I do that show. Like, I don't know. I don't want to say coincidence. It just feels like fate to me. Hi, Ryan. Perfect Blue is great, in my opinion. Yes, it is. Perfect Blue is, no pun intended, perfect. There's our boy. What have they done to my boy? AJ Zicho, 1975 is in the house. What's going on? Sings the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, where's Pat Sage? You know what? For the Wheel of Torture episodes, I really should get Vanna White's ass on here. Like, I don't know how much. Granted, I don't know if anyone's ever watched an interview with Vanna White. There's a reason that bitch just spins fucking letters. There is the lights are on. There ain't nobody fucking home other than whoever helps her picks out her dresses. I don't know. Hey, how you doing, buddy? By the way, up to 2024 in the memoirs. Anthony Chabot always reminding us of the memoirs and where he is in them. You're running out of years. What are you gonna do? 2 more years, and then you're all caught up. Excuse me, ma'am. Hello, I'm from Canada, not the burning part. Well, Michelle Parsons is from the Great White North, not the Great White Burning North. Only on Grande Excuse me, ma'am. I think you messed up my latte. This is Grande. This is Grande's graveyard. We got Jeff. Down is up. Hi, Grande. Yeah, this afternoon felt like there was an eclipse in New York City for a period of time with the smoke. And yeah, sure enough, my dumb ass, I'll be in New York City tomorrow. Fun fact, and if you're going to Fanatics Fest, feel free to say hi if you see me. I'm going to go meet EO Sky again. EO Sky is going to be doing a photo op and autograph session from 10:30 to 2:30, I think. And I got tickets for both. I'm going to get her to sign my one-of-one EO Sky card that completed my rainbow of the WWE Exalted series. So I'm super excited to get that signed, to talk with EO again. And it's funny, one of the actresses in the movies that we're going to discuss tonight, I did tell EO when I met her the first time that she reminds me of. And EO was like, she knew who it was and was like super, super happy with the comparison. So that's really cool. But yeah, I'm very excited to see her again tomorrow. It's almost a year to the day where I met her last year. It was August the 1st of last year, and this is going to be July the 17th, so just a couple of days apart, just 2 weeks or so apart. But I'll be in the city tomorrow, Jeff, so I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you're headed to Fanatics Fest, but I'll be there. People saying, hi, hey, Michelle, I know you're up there in Canada. Yeah, we all hope that you're safe. We really do. Cheating on Mountain Dew. Cheers. Hardhead Heather 85 is in the house. Triple H was cool enough this morning. She was having it would look like a delicious breakfast. A breakfast only brought to you by Triple H. It was like toast with 2 fried eggs and beans. So beans, toast, and eggs. And a mug. I don't know what was in the mug, but my face was on her mug. The Grande's Graveyard mug was a part of her healthy, nutritious, delicious breakfast today. So thank you, Triple H, for sharing that with me. That was also, I'm in the burning part. Yeah, well, we hope anyone in the burning part stays safe and unburned. People saying hi. That plum soda is going to hit like prunes. No, it's not. I'm not going to have to take a shit. I think I'm taking a fucking shit. Yeah, no, I hope not. Grande cheating on Dew. Bad Grande. Sadako is going to punish you. Yeah, Sadako is going to come out of my fucking TV for cheating on the Dew here tonight. But you know what? What better way to pop open this cherry, or I guess plum, if you will. Let's pop this open. This is Sangaria Japanese ume flavored soda on Grande's Graveyard. We're going to try this right here and right now. I wish I had nails. That's the only thing. Cheers. We popped this son bitch open. Cheers to the graveyard, to a safe, happy, healthy, non-burning weekend. Cheers to you all. All right, a little bit to be desired in the flavor department. It feels like a very strong seltzer, but when I'm talking soda, I like fucking strong, sugary-ass soda, hence the fact that I drink more Mountain Dew than people that distribute it. But it's good. Don't get me wrong. This is good. This is, if you like seltzer, if you're a seltzer drinker, this is the soda for you. This is Japanese ume flavored soda. It's just very weak to me. Like it tastes kind of lemon limey, but I guess that's maybe what the plum tastes like. I don't know. I'm not so familiar with ume plums. It's only 70 calories. So if you're a calorie watcher, I don't know, but I think it's pretty good. I don't know. I would give it like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. I don't know, somewhere in that ballpark. It's just, it needs a little oomph. It needs a little more sugar, I think. But then again, that's coming from me, so don't take that to heart. But we also got these, the Japanese melty cheese pizza potato chips, only on Grande's Graveyard. So we're going to try these again. These were really good last time from what my memory serves me. If I can get the fucking thing open. It's like fucking factory sealed shut, man. Okay. We got it open. They fucking seal these son of bitches. So everybody, cheers to a pizza chip. Oh, man. That is delicious. I might just have to cancel this episode and just eat these. Wow. Yeah. Don't stand a chance after this episode's over. The only reason they're not being consumed now is because I'm live. If this was a pre-recorded Grande's Graveyard, the show would be over right there. I would just have to pause it and start again. Curly Girl, the movies is here. Speaking of people going to Fanatics Fest, Curly will not be there tomorrow. She'll be there on Saturday, and she's going to meet the American Nightmare. Cody Rhodes. She's taking a photo off of Cody Rhodes on Saturday, so very excited for Curly. That's like one of her favorite people. And I also think she's going to Saturday night's main event, so Curly's got quite the Saturday to go. I'm very excited for her. Best part of waking up is Grande in your cup. Yeah, that's a great, it rhymes and everything too. I would 100% try those chips. They're very good. They are delicious. I'm telling you, I swear to you, if I didn't have a show to do, I would just be eating these chips the rest of the night. Top 3 Mountain Dews go. Oh boy, those are the hard hitting questions, man. Number one is the original. The original Dew is great. I, for a long time, said Code Red, but I drank so much Code Red Mountain Dew that I actually burned myself out of it. It happens sometimes. So the original Mountain Dew is easily above and beyond my favorite. Then I would go with Voltage. I think Voltage is great. My friend Terrence turned me back on to. I hadn't had Voltage in years until a couple years ago. So tonight we saw Longlegs. We went to go see Longlegs in the theater, and my friend Terry, he snuck in a couple of Mountain Dews. He goes, bro, I stopped at Sev's, and he hands me a Voltage. And I was like, dude, I haven't had Voltage in years. And then I fucking drank it. Dude, it was like discovering the Holy Grail. It was just, I don't know, for whatever reason, I guess the layoff, it made the taste just hit so much better than it used to. And I've been like addicted to Voltage for the past 2 years. So that's definitely number two. And number three would easily be Code Red. I just honestly was number one for a long time. Just honestly burned myself out on it. It happens. It's just like that's a drink that I just couldn't get enough of for years and years. And then I was like, man, I've grown tired of this. So that's kind of what happened about that. But those would be my top three. People saying hi. That's Dr. Howdy Seltzer. You just don't know yet. It's just weak. It's like, give me a little oomph. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe because I like stronger soda, that's why this tastes a little bit fucking weak to me. I think a normal, okay, let me put on my normal glasses for this. I think a normal, like responsible seltzer drinker would tell you this is amazing. I really do. I think they would say like a 10 out of 10. For me, I need a little extra Vaganza on my fucking soda. That's just me. I just need a little bit more. Like it's all right. It's fucking teetotaling, but it's it doesn't have that oomph. It doesn't, I don't have the oomph. Top Dews, Code Red number 1, 2 original, 3 Baja Blast. Yeah, Baja Blast is a big favorite amongst mostly non-Dew drinkers. Anyone is a non-Dew drinker usually comes to me and goes, Baja's the best. And I'm like, do you drink any other Dew though? And they're usually like, no. Yeah, no. Baja Blast is the best. Shame about the Taco Bell part. Well, here, at least in the States, they sell Baja Blast separately from Taco Bell now, but that used to be the only way to get it was to go to Taco Bell, get the Baja Blast with your cheesy gordita crunch or your Crunch Wrap Supreme or whatever the hell. But yeah, Baja's good. I don't like it as much as most people. Like it's okay. It's better than White Out. It's not as good as Pitch Black. It's not as good as LimeWire. It's not, is it like you want to get into Mountain Dew Connoisseur, this will become a different show. Code Red was the best. They made slushies at the corner store. Did they? Man, they never had Code Red slushies by me. That sounds like it would be otherworldly. I'm hoping maybe a year or two from now, something will happen again where I'm at the movies with Terry and he's like, I got you a Code Red, and it will hit the way that Voltage hit me the night we saw Longlegs. That'd be pretty cool. Baja Blast, my favorite Dew. Yeah, it's a lot of people's favorite. But everybody, let's get underway. We're about 13 minutes in. Cheers to the Ume. Cheers to Japan, the good big land of Japan. I'm the big man from Japan tonight, and we have 6 Japanese horror movies to discuss on the Wheel of Torture. And I say we spin that son of a bitch up. Let's do it. The Wheel of Torture will decide the first movie of the evening. And what's it gonna be? Oh, I think this is a landslide. We're almost right in the middle of the wedge. Yes, we have a winner from the year 2000, the start of the new millennium. This is The Hanging Balloons. Brief plot synopsis. Film adaptation of 3 short stories by horror manga icon Junji Ito. The Devil's Logic, The Long Hair in the Attic, and The Hanging Balloons. Yes, a Japanese horror anthology movie, which I had never seen until I discussed, or I guess, we're going to discuss here on the show tonight. However, I was familiar with all 3 stories, and I can show how familiar I am. I'm a big Junji Ito fan. I love reading his Japanese manga novels, and the ones that I'm showing up in specific do actually have some of the stories that we're going to be discussing here tonight, because one of the other movies happens to be Scarecrow, which is based on the short story of Junji Ito called Scarecrows. But in this book right here, what's really cool about it is the 2 stories that are covered in this adaptation, in this anthology, are back to back in this book. So I want to show that here in the Junji Ito. There's The Devil's Logic on this page right here. It's a really short one. Devil's Logic story is only 10 pages long. And then The Long Hair in the Attic is about 30 pages. I love The Long Hair in the Attic. It's it's my favorite Junji Ito story. And I was super excited. I was like, an anthology I've never seen based on some short stories from horror manga master Junji Ito. I was like, take my goddamn money. I can't wait to watch this. And Basically, what you have is a V cinema, and we've gone over V cinema quite a few times here on Grande's Graveyard in these Japanese horror specials. What is a V cinema? V cinema is basically Japanese horror films that premiere directly to television in kind of a way to try to gain interest and gain funding in order to make these next movies, the movies that would hopefully proceed or sequel to them, go theatrical. Now, this didn't happen. There was no sequel to The Hanging Balloons. However, there's numerous other Junji Ito live action adaptations and anime adaptations. Junji Ito's work, you throw a rock and you'll hit a Junji Ito adaptation of some kind or shape or form. But this one I thought was pretty good for the most part. And you look at the directors right off the bat, the first segment, The Devil's Logic, directed by Takashi Shimizu, who we have literally, I think, discussed on every single Japanese horror special that we've done. He always seems to kind of find a way to pop up on these J-horror special episodes. Of course, the creator of Ju-On the Grudge, and this was the same year he did Ju-On the Curse, which also was a V cinema. That V cinema did a lot better because it spawned this entire Ju-On franchise that we'd go on to know and love, the Grudge films in America, if you will. And I've always been a big fan of Takashi Shimizu. We've reviewed Mare Bito on here just a few episodes ago. Love that movie. Just a great, really weird, underground, just uncomfortable and unsettling picture. And movies like Reincarnation, which I thought was super spooky and well done. Like, I'm a big Shimizu fan, so to see his name in the direct, I was like, oh my God, take my goddamn money. Like, that is exciting. I love Shimizu cinema. So he directed one of the stories. The second is by Ryuta Miyake, who I wasn't as familiar with. He went on to do Ju-On White Ghost, another movie we reviewed here, and I did quite like that one, despite the evil entity with the basketball. I swear you God, if you look that up, you will see what I'm talking about. And then the last director I wasn't as familiar with is Oda, who does the Hanging Balloons segment, which is the last segment, and they go in that order. It's The Devil's Logic, the long dark hair, and then, or the long hair in the attic, and then lastly, but not leastly, the Hanging Balloons. And I can run through the stories a little bit here. So the first story, The Devil's Logic, is really interesting as we follow these people in a high school. And the thing opens up where it's these two classmates talking, a boy and a girl, and she's telling him that she's got a date and she's super excited. And he's like, oh my God, I'm really excited for that whole thing. Like, I'm excited for you. I think that's going to be great. You're going to have a great time. And he wants to know the details. So he has this kind of Sony Walkman thing. And he puts a tape recorder in her bag because he wants to hear how their date goes. An hour passes by, and that same girl who seems so bubbly, so full of life, so walking on clouds, out of nowhere throws herself off of the roof of the school. She commits suicide and splats on the ground, and everyone in the school is so confused. Why would this happy-go-lucky girl, this bubbly, happy girl, take her own life? What happened within this hour to make her do what she did? And then he remembers, oh my God, I had the tape in her backpack. What the hell? So he retrieves the tape and he starts listening. And what Shimizu does is he plays a lot with timelines. And if you're a fan of Ju-On the Grudge, which to me is the best Grudge movie, it's technically The Grudge Part 3, Ju-On the Grudge from 2002, you could see that Takashi Shimizu likes to play with timelines. He likes to play with past, present, and future. And that's really what the core of the horror is here. The story goes that she's walking around with, this tape in her backpack, and it's this other girl that starts to tell her about the devil's logic, and that if she was to take her own life, that she could find out the future, that she could see things before they happen. And she kind of manipulates and tricks this girl into taking her own life in order to see the future and see what her future is with this boy she has the date with, right? And then thus ends a perfectly happy life of somebody. And it's quite sad. And then the whole thing kind of just plays out from there. It's really trippy. It's really weird. It's kind of all over the place, a little bit hard to follow, especially if you're watching it just for one time. I recommend watching it more than once, or even reading the short story. It might clear some things up. But you got to keep in mind, despite this being a 20-something minute segment of horror, the short story only was a 10-page story. So even a short, anthology horror segment in a movie, you're stretching even the short story because that was only 10 pages. It's not like we were adapting a novel. We were adapting a 10-page short story and kind of had to make it fit this 20-25 minute time frame. And I think Shimizu did it great. I love the unsettlement in it. Just some weird vibes in this. I love that one. The Devil's Logic is really good. The second story is my favorite. The second story to me is like one of the all-time great Junji Ito stories is The Long Hair in the Attic. And it tells the story of this girl who is head over heels for her boyfriend. She's absolutely in love with him, and the whole story kind of plays out where he doesn't treat her properly. Right, there's times where she's, hey, can we hang out after you're done with school? And he's like, oh no, I'm busy tonight. I've got to study. You see, he hangs up the phone and he's with another girl in his dorm. And then there's a point where she goes to bring him food. He's like, not now, get the fuck away from me. He pushes her out the door and the food spills all over the sidewalk. And you watch slowly but surely as you see this girl who is trying to convince herself that this is the guy, that this is the one for her, and that she is truly madly in love, and he doesn't want any part of her. And it's the true hard, cold reality that she has to face of the horrors of this guy not being what she wants him to be. And there's so many great scenes of that where the director tells his story without dialogue having to be spoken. There's a great scene where she's walking in the rain over to his house to deliver him stuff because he says he has a cold, right? She has this, flu medicine and, stuff like that to battle a flu. And she walks by and she sees a couple to her right, and they're walking with an umbrella and they're just laughing and smiling arm in arm. And she looks at that and she just kind of turns and looks kind of sad. And I think in that scene, again, you're saying oh so much without saying anything at all verbally. Is you're saying that's what I want. That's that feeling, that vibe, that aura, that relationship, something along those lines is what I crave and yearn for. And she can't get those things because the boy that she's with is just a total scumbag. He takes money from her, he talks down to her, and she makes all these excuses for him. Her friend's like, I'm gonna go beat this son of a bitch up. Like, what the fuck? This guy's a scumbag. She says, no, don't you talk about him that way. You don't understand him. And it's classic toxic relationship, which is never a good thing. And unfortunately, it's a thing that any one of us can probably relate to one way or another, hopefully less than others, but it does happen. We are human. And we follow her as she's just completely had it with this guy. And then he breaks up with her. He dumps her abruptly one night, and she could see that there's another girl in his room, and she goes home and she starts crying, and she reads a portfolio that she had made of him and all their good times on the beach and all their good times when the things were going good, when the spark was there. And we see that, and she starts to cry in the portfolio, and she remembers a statement that he had made about her long dark hair and how much he loved it and how much he wanted her to keep growing it out because that was his favorite feature of her. And in a rage, in a fit of anger, she says, you know what, fuck you. This was your favorite thing about me. Now it's gone. And she attempts to cut the hair off. And all of a sudden, this thing becomes supernatural. And her hair becomes vengeful. And her hair kills not only her, but then wants to kill the boyfriend. And where else does it reside but in the attic? And man, this is, to me, your classic story of the horrors of love, really a touchy subject for many, and me included. I mean, it's a touchy subject. It hits you in the feels. You can totally see and understand the horror that our lead character is going through here, because you can see how she hurts. You can see it, and it's really sad. It's really it's kind of heartbreaking. And then I love what Ito does. Ito takes a sad story and turns it on its head and makes it horrific, and only to see this boyfriend get his comeuppance, right? Because he deserves the worst death in the world. And that's kind of what he gets as this thing kind of plays out. Really good scare sequences. I love the ultimate payoff of when he goes up into the attic. He keeps hearing the noises. Really good. Really, really good. It's the first 2/3 of this anthology are really good. And then we get to the last story of this anthology, which it just completely fucking fumbles the ending. I don't even know. The Hanging Balloons is one of Junji Ito's most popular stories. It's been adapted really well. It's been adapted in the, Japanese Tales of the Macabre on Netflix. If you want to watch, there's a 20-minute episode anime adaptation of the Hanging Balloons. It's great. I really like that one. The short story is amongst Ito's best. People to this day, I see every day on Instagram, you'll see somebody posting Junji Ito stuff, and that Hanging Balloons one is one that you see often. It's Tomie, it's Uzumaki. These are the ones that you see on a regular basis. And they even break the fourth wall in this. The girls in the story are reading Junji Ito's story. Like, oh, this is pretty crazy. Imagine if this happened. And then it happens. That's kind of how they do it. They break the fourth wall, where the story of the Hanging Balloons is this actress takes her own life at the beginning. She hangs herself. And then it's these other girls that are kind of discussing, oh, why do you think she did it? What do you think happened? All of a sudden, these giant inflatable heads start flying around the city, and there are nooses attached to the heads. And it's the faces of whoever is in the town. And these heads fly and hang these people and kill them. And if you destroy the balloon, destroy the head, the person also dies as well. They like dissipate into ash. And that's the story. And unfortunately, now while I love this short story, while I love the Ito story, this adaptation is terrible. It's directed by Issei Oda, who would go on to, funny enough, be a big special effects slash makeup slash visual effects guy. And man, the visual effects here rival the Langoliers. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Langoliers and this terrible effects in that Stephen King miniseries, but while they're not as bad, I will still say the Langoliers is worse. This rivals it. It's in the same ballpark. Like, it is truly, it may not be on the field, but it's in the stand somewhere of how bad these visual effects are. It truly shoots and cripples any legitimacy, any horror, any vibe you can feel from this particular segment is just ruined by these terrible, terrible effects. And like, I could try to pull up what they look like, because it's fucking laughably bad, man. It's and what's so funny is that this was the one that got the title, right? Like, it wasn't here. I'm trying to find if I could find pictures of it here. But this was the title they used, right? It wasn't the Long Hair in the Attic. It wasn't the Devil's Logic. They used this as the title for the whole anthology. So, you think, okay, this is the last one. This is the poster boy. This is the one they're trying to sell the tickets with. Like, obviously this will be the best one. This will be the one to take it home. And it just doesn't work at all. The effects look so bad. I can't seem to find the makeup effects here, or the visual effects, I should say. Yeah, I can't really find it, so it is what it is. But trust me when I tell you, it's quite bad. It's unfortunate. And the whole thing kind of plays it out like a comedy. And most of the, like, I guess the character work in this segment, they're all talking about fucking their gym coach. And then he's basically like, yeah, I fucked half these girls. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? None of that, to my memory, none of that was in the short story. It's been a while since I read the short story, and I actually don't own that one. But just odd, just a really, it's 2/3 the anthology, really good. I'm with it. And then that last segment, it's like, oh man. And this is it, to me, the egg's on your face, because that's the name of the anthology for it. Like, that's the name of the title of the picture. So it's like, oh man, like, I wish you had done something else. And listen, there's no doubt that was the smart move, because that was, of these three, the most popular and well-known story that Ito had done. So I don't blame them for making this the poster child. I don't blame them for making this the movie that they wanted to focus on, of course, as the Wheel of Torture. That's the poster you get. Yeah, you just see the head and the noose, and you don't really see the other two stories. And as a matter of fact, when I first was scouting for J Horror Special, I thought it was just an hour and 30-minute version of the Hanging Balloons. I didn't know it was a horror anthology. And then I was like, oh my God, the Devil's Logic and the Long Hair in the Attic, those were really good stories. Like, what do we got for the finale? And it's just like, oh shit. It just drops the ball, unfortunately. But it's still a really good Ito story. It's still, I like the anime adaptations of it. The live action, unfortunately, kills this anthology from being a truly great one. But I still do like 2 out of 3. That's not bad. Then I highly recommend you give this a look if you can find it. Now, good luck finding this. This was a bitch to find, but we do have Nick Reap, and Nick Reap always will find a way for me. But let's see what y'all have to say. Grande's not only knowledgeable about films, but Mountain Dew drinks. Gotta love it. Yes, I am a plethora of useless knowledge. I really am. Spin that wheel. Hell yeah. If your city has Casey's, you can get a Baja Blast there. I've never even heard of Casey's. Woo! Junji Ito, legend, all caps. Yes, he is. Jack Doby is in the house. When I go to the theater, it is a Coke and a splash of cherry ice with some Captain Morgan's. Oh, shit. All right. Jack knows how to go to the cinema right there. I'm boring. I do popcorn and a dew, but man, this guy, hell yeah, brother, top tier manga. Yes, no, some of these, I mean, I really recommend some of these manga. Like, if you like to read, if you like short horror stories, then these are some of the best ever. Like, I just love some of the anime slash manga type comic panels you have here. It's just gorgeous. There's something about his style that just really endears me. And now I know a lot of people, they take exception. They hate a lot of his live actions. And listen, I reviewed Tomy. I reviewed Uzumaki. I reviewed a lot of his stuff. And we still have one more Junji Ito movie to discuss here tonight. But to me, this was pretty good for 2/3 of the way, considering they had no budget. It was a direct-to-TV movie, V Cinema. I thought it worked. Missed Hanging Balloons. I'm okay with that. Not a big fan of anthologies. Okay, see, I'm an anthology nut. Yeah, no, I would love to know your thoughts on this, but good luck finding it. It's the thing. Like, there's not really some of these movies that we'll talk about here tonight don't really have good editions. Like Scarecrow doesn't have a Blu-ray. Hang Balloons doesn't have a Blu-ray. The Vanished doesn't have Blu-ray. Like there's tons of these movies that just don't. Curious, Grande, do you read and understand Japanese? So these are translated into English. So I read a lot of Japanese manga, but it's in English. So the answer would be no. I don't speak a lick of Japanese. However, I have to this point watched so much Japanese stuff that I do know quite a few words of Japanese. Like I know, like one of my favorites is if you answer the cell phone in Japan, they say "mushi," and that means hello, but only on the telephone. You don't say it in person. You don't say "mushi" in person. It's only on the telephone. That's something I've always I can watch and just be like I know what she's saying. I know she's saying hello. Like that. There's little things like that that I catch on to. And that's only because I watch a lot of Japanese stuff. Like I'm just big into Japanese culture, Japanese cinema, just anything. Like I love Japanese food. Just a big Japanese fan. Grande, do you have the Tomei Deluxe Edition really next book? Yes, I do. I didn't bring it down with me, but I do have that, and it's incredible. I finally finished the last story 2 months ago, and it's oh my god, dude, that's one of my favorite books of all time. Is that just that entire the mansion one, the one where they're in the snow, Tomie Revenge in the snow is so good. Like there's so many good Tomie manga stories. It's like 750 pages, I think, and it's my god, there's so many gems in there. I wanted to do an episode of this where I ranked each of the stories, which would be a lot of fun, but maybe down the road. So this movie is this Japanese version of the Twilight Zone. Well, you could say creep show. You could say it's a Japanese trilogy of terror, right? Because it's a 3-segment anthology, right? I will say some of the segments don't really. It's not like it's a half hour. It's more like 25 minutes. The middle segment's like 40 minutes, and then the last segment's barely 20 minutes. Like with credits, it gets to 20 minutes. The Hanging Balloon segment is so short, and then you have the stuff in between, right? People saying hi. We got Kubrick Lover in the house. Hey, Grande, welcome, Kubrick Lover. Let's see. Just like in real life. Yeah, no, it's that Long Hair in the Attic story is great. Like to me, it hits on so much. It hits on the reality of having your heart broken, and then it also hits on the reality of what you feel vengeful for after, right? It's an interesting dynamic, right? You go from loving this person to debating life forever with them, right? No matter who it is. And then all of a sudden, once it's over, you become this angry entity, this like son of a bitch, like fuck that person. And you know what I hope happens to them? All of a sudden, anger, it becomes angry, it becomes ugly, it becomes anything but what it was before. And that to me is what Ito kind of shows through the hair. It's through the hair that all of these vengeful feelings are released. And I think that's horror 101. That to me is Junji Ito at his absolute finest, right? You take something that's real, you take a reality, and then you play it out and make it horrific. And there is quite a bit of horror in reality itself, but to me, the Ito spin on it and how he kind of expresses himself there, that to me is what makes him one of the all-time greats. Speaking of horrors of love, I think one of the movies later is disturbing for that. Yes, we'll get there, and I know which movie you're talking about. 99 Red Hanging Balloons. Pass one down, take it around. People saying hi. The Hanging Balloons is wild. Yes, it is. The Hanging Balloon sounds like the Netflix miniseries 13 Reasons Why. Does it really? I've not seen 13 Reasons Why. I heard it's awful. It's unfortunately really bad. Yeah, it's a bummer. I really enjoyed the Langoliers, Grande, even though the creatures are pretty awful in it. I like the Langoliers too, and I've reviewed it. I forget what show I reviewed. I think I did a Stephen King special. One of these past Octobers, I did a Stephen King episode, and I reviewed that. And I like the Langoliers. Don't get me wrong. I like the miniseries, but those effects are fucking some of the worst ever put to screen. And I swear to you, this rivals it, like some of the effects. Let's see. I love the Langoliers. I watched it as a kid. Did you really? I watched it on the Sci-Fi Channel as a kid, like years after it had premiered. And what I noticed the callback to the Twilight Zone. There's a silly callback to it where Mr. Toomey, right? Mr. Toomey, Bronson Pinchot, he keeps talking about he has to get to a meeting in Boston at 9 a.m. And if you've seen the episode of The Twilight Zone, Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? The guy who's the Martian keeps saying, I have an important meeting in Boston at 9 a.m. I noticed that as a kid. I was like, oh my God, like that's such a cool callback. Like what a cool, like, and to kind of alienate him literally from the rest of this group, and he's the freak in the group. Like that's only something a fucking diehard nerd like me would see, but it's there, and I love it. I think that's such a cool callback. I don't drink any soda grande, bad for your teeth. You are knowledgeable of a film. I find you articulate and very. I remember you threw this word at me before, erudite. And I'm a professional English major, read a ton of books. That word just gives me the biggest fit. I don't know, meaning you know your topic. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. That is some nice artwork. It is. It really is. Oh, speaking of Junji Ito fans, we got him in the house. Black Glove Reviews, 1979. What's going on, brother? Hope all is well with you. He did an awesome video if you want to check out. I actually don't remember if it's on this channel. If it's on the other channel, let me know. I think because you have two different channels. One where it's more manga/books related, where he was showing off his collection of Junji Ito stuff, and I was showing off my some of the ones that I brought down here to discuss here tonight. So welcome. Hope all is well with you. I know you're a diehard Ito guy like me, so always happy to have people like that in the house. Grande Oshi is delicious in Japanese. I have taken some Japanese language classes and have had 4 Japanese language teachers. That's pretty cool. You know, I wouldn't say never. I would never say never. I wouldn't say never just taking a Japanese language class. It'd be cool. You would like Uzumaki Grande. I have that deluxe manga, the one story in the hospital with the pregnant woman is disturbing. Oh, like, I have read bits and pieces of the Uzumaki manga. Sorry, that spoke too fast there. But some of it is great. I don't really like the film adaptation. The from 2000, the live action film adaptation is kind of and then they did the anime one on Adult Swim, and the first episode was amazing. I was like, holy shit, we're in for it. And then apparently they cut the budget, and the next 3 episodes were terrible. So it figures that's something that would happen to Junji Ito. Merns, hey Graveyard fam, what's up, Grande? What's up, Merns? Hope all is well with you. People talking. You're a nerd. I am a nerd. I can't help it. I'm a big fucking nerd. Black Glove Books. That's right. Black Glove Books. I thought so. I had a feeling. So yeah, if you want to check out, he did a really cool video just going through all of his manga and his thoughts on Junji Ito manga, his collection, stuff like that. Really cool stuff. So if anybody wants to check that out, please do. But it's time, my friends. Let's spin the wheel and let's make a goddamn deal. Only on Grande's Graveyard. What's up next on the chopping block? And okay, looks like it's gonna be one that I actually own from the year 2000 as well. I'm talking about it right here. I'm talking about it right now. Ring Zero. Brief plot synopsis. In this prequel to Ring, a young Sadako Yamamura becomes an actress in hopes of escaping her troubled past, but strange visions and terrifying powers begin to manifest. Oh, man. When I think of truly underrated Japanese horror movies, look no further than this right here. This is a great fucking horror movie to me from top to bottom. And I mean, there's so many things to discuss, so many little scenes that I want to mention. But first and foremost, you mentioned the lead actress, Yuki Nakama. And I've talked about extension. Like I love Goku-sen. I love her as as Missy. I love her on that show. I loved her as Saki, as this evil, manipulative woman who was getting the vengeance for her mother that passed away in an ambulance due to all of these people kind of getting in the way. Those are great Japanese shows. I love her in so many different things, right? But it was as Sadako Yamamura that to me, she proved that she was going to be a big actress for years to come. And she is absolutely the reason to watch this movie. It's not just her great acting talent. It's also her beauty. It's also her screen presence. It's her manifestation of playing Sadako to me that makes this an all-time great movie. And it's directed by, and I always have trouble with this guy's name, so forgive me, Norio Tsuruta, and we actually will be discussing another one of his movies. He also directed Scarecrow, which we'll talk about here tonight, but this was a movie he made the year before Scarecrow, and I think this is great. Considering the Ring series, I think still the original Hideo Nakama film, that's still the best Ring movie, but if there was a second best, if there's a best sequel and or, in this case, prequel, Ring Zero, it's this one, Ring Zero, which plays ultimately like a Carrie knockoff, if you will, where we follow a young Sadako. She's maybe 16, 17. In real life, the actress was about 20 years old. And we watch as she's auditioning for this school play. And she doesn't get it at first. She's the understudy. And then mysterious things happen to the girl that was supposed to be the lead. She dies off. And Sadako all of a sudden goes from understudy to the lead of the play. And slowly but surely, all these kind of people around her start to die off, start to question who she is, thinking that she's off kilter, and all of these things in between. And in the midst of that, we also have a bit of a love story between her and one of the guys that are on the production. This to me is a great prequel for many reasons. And I know prequels get a bad rep. And I know people say, oh, well, I don't like prequels because we know where they're going. We know that to get to Ring 2, or Rosin, if you're slightly more daring, to get to those movies, we obviously know how this movie is going to end. And there's a lot of stones or eggs or whatever thrown at this movie's way. And it's understandable, right? Because you know it's going to end where Sadako goes down the well. We know the 7 days. We know her curse. And we know her story if you watch the other films. And that's completely understandable. I hear those gripes if you have them. But to me, this is a much needed and necessary prequel in so many ways, because to me, it's the horrors of the story that it's telling you that it didn't have to go the way that it did. And to me, that's the brilliance of Ring Zero. What do I mean by that? We follow Yuki Nakama, Sadako, a girl that's very much picked on, teased, and treated unfairly. She's auditioning for the lead role in the play. She doesn't get it, but she kind of stays stoic and stays quiet about it. And then something happens to the girl that's going to be the lead of the play initially, and she takes over. And we watch a lot of scenes as she's acting in this role. And a lot of the play on words of the play she's doing kind of mirror the situation at hand. She has this thing where she falls in love with this guy who's one of the production designers. But it seems like even when things are going right, even when things are going well, it feels like there's a black cloud above Sadako Yamamura's head, this impending fear of doom that follows her throughout this picture and throughout her life, right? Her tragic past of the incident with her mother and the ESP and the one reporter that died, and everyone thought that Sadako was the one that killed him. And then, of course, they felt they could never prove it, right? And that's why she's out in the open here. We watch as she's slowly but surely, trying to get used to everyday life and trying to get things to go on the right side. And we see that there are glimpses of the normalcy that she yearns for, right? A guy that really likes her, getting praise and getting love for the audition and the role that she's acting in. She's getting these little moments of normalcy, these little moments of fulfillment of life. And we see that there are good things that can come from that. And to me, one of the best scenes in Ring Zero is she goes to the hospital. Her boyfriend takes kind of a nasty spill. She goes to the hospital and she's walking with him, and she kind of sits in the waiting room, and she sees this old man get wheeled out in a wheelchair. And she kind of looks at him and she walks over to check on him because he starts making these noises, and she touches his shoulder. And then she walks away. And then all of a sudden what we see is this old paraplegic man, this old, sick, dying man gets to his feet. He gets up and he's healed. He's miraculously healed. He's miraculously not dying anymore. And to me, what they're trying to tell you, what they're trying to say is simply that it didn't have to be the way that it was. It didn't have to end in the well. It didn't have to end with the evil curse. It didn't have to end with the videotape that people watch and you will die in 7 days. Didn't have to go that way. Here was a girl that from the moment she was born, from the moment that incident happened with the ESP and the reporter, was told that she was nothing more than a monster. This beautiful girl, played by the beautiful Yuki Nakama, when you're told that constantly, you'll start to believe it. You'll start to buy into it, right? Because that's all you're hearing. It must be true. It certainly must be true if that's all I'm hearing. But it's in that one moment where you see, oh my God, her powers of evil, her curse could have been used for the opposite. It could have been used to heal those that were dying. It could have been a normal life. It could have been a happy story. And instead, what I think is great about Ring Zero, it's a tragedy. It's a horror tragedy. It's the tragedy of a girl that could have done good that ultimately goes oh so bad. And to me, the direction by Norio here, it's incredible. He does such a good job at making this feel so unsettling and unnerving in a lot of ways. I really like there's a great scene where she keeps hallucinating about her mother, and she's acting in the middle of the play, and she thinks she sees her mother, and she freaks out and accidentally knocks this guy off the stage, and everybody kind of panics. There is a lot of interesting themes in this. And now this was based on an anthology segment of course, Koji Suzuki, who was the writer of this. He wrote an anthology book, and the short story this was based off was called Lemonheart. Lemonheart was basically Ring birthday. It was a short story about the origin story of Sadako Yamamura and how it's portrayed here. And I love how, again, Norio directs this, right? There's so many great heartfelt moments where eventually everyone starts to blame her. You did it. It was you. It was totally you. They all gang up on her. And she said, it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. Like, stop the madness. And her boyfriend is trying to get to her. He's like, no, leave Sadako alone. And they beat her to death after the opening night of the play. They just beat her to death with objects. And then they all turn to each other and go, we have to get the other. We have to get the other because now we're cursed. And if we don't get the other, we'll die. And then that kind of leads to some interesting things where there's two Sadakos. There's an evil, a good, and a bad. And the good one was living and prospering. And then we go to the cabin where her father is, and we meet the evil version of Sadako. And Yuki Nakama does great with all the conversions and the contorting of her body. Like, it was so fun to watch some of the behind the scenes stuff of this, where they were teaching her how to walk and do the movements and stuff. I love that. I'm a sucker for that type of stuff. Like, that's so fun. The physical acting of it's really cool. And they get to the cabin and they're trying to kill her off, and the boyfriend kind of rushes back and gets to her. He's like, listen, it's me. Like, we can live together forever. And she keeps telling him, go, just leave. Don't do this. You don't want to do this. And then you could see kind of where it goes. It all goes to hell. And we do see Sadako get cleavered to the face and falls down the well and covered up. And there's one of the final shots of the movie where she falls down the well. She wakes up and all of a sudden she's in a hospital room, and she's like, was it all a dream? Did I imagine this? Am I fine? Is it safe? Is it secure? And she sees her boyfriend and she goes to touch him, right? She goes to put her hand out. And once their hands make contact, she grabs the cold brick of the well that she's fallen into. And she kind of looks up, starts screaming, and the film comes to an end, right? We again, like, to me, the brilliance of it is the parallel of Sadako Yamamura's character. Every single other Ring film tells you that it's very much not a gray area character, right? This, we see the white, we see the good in her, and then we see the ultimate bad, and the two together do make some sort of a gray character. But at the end, that, to me, that heart-wrenching moment of that cold ending of her seeing what could have been, we could have had it, right? And the horror that comes with that to me is what makes this a great movie. Like, I think that Ring Zero is the best of the post 1998 Hideo Nakata Ring movies. This is the best of I know it's not a sequel, it's a prequel. So yeah, this is the best movie that's not the 98 version to me. This is truly a great movie. I love Ring Zero. Just has everything going for it. To me, if you're an American viewer, it's very much like a Japanese Sadako starring Carrie Knock. And I mean that in the best of ways. It's a really well done one. So I like Ring Zero. Let's see what you'll have to say, though. I'm curious to see what you all have to say in the chat. Quite a few comments. Wow. RAP, yes. Oh God, that was a sad one for me. We talked about it a little bit, I think, last week. That was a heartbreaker for me, and I'll be at Spirited Away's 25th anniversary. Ring Zero Supremacy, hell yeah! I know Curly and I reviewed this. We did a Ring episode where we talked about all the Ring movies together. That was a really fun one. But yeah, that's why I wanted to throw. It was funny. My initial plan for this J Horror special was to do each movie had like a Japanese actress that I really love in it, and most of them do. Granted, Hanging Balloons doesn't really have anybody of that stature, but the rest of them all do. So go figure. So from here, it's that kind of special. Wow, Arrow Blu-rays have some amazing box art. Yeah, I mean, this is the newly commissioned, and then you can get the original cover art, which is here, which I don't really like this that much. Like, that doesn't fit the movie at all, as you can see. It's just like a baby in the ring. There's no baby in this movie. It's just kind of a weird, I never really liked the cover that the original movie had. So that's actually a rare instance where I went with the newly commissioned cover over the one that they obviously gave it to us again. As I can get this back in the fucking thing here. Sorry, I'm having a hell of a time with that. I'll do it later. Grande, I've got the Arrow Ring set. I do as well, which comes with the book. I've only ever seen the first Ring, the first American remake. You've only seen the American ones, but you have the box set, buddy? Why don't you watch the Japanese ones? What the heck? Why you got the box set for? Ring Zero, fresh on my brain. Watched it earlier today. It's good, but I didn't love Sadako's backstory. Yeah, there's tons of, and I've been part of this conversation before with other, like, sometimes I don't want to know the backstory for a lot of these. I don't care how Freddy Krueger came to be. I don't care. I don't want to see Jason get bullied. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. However, to me, what separates this one, or I guess the woman from the boys, if you will, is the fact that there was a point. It was showing you that it didn't need to go this way. And I think Sadako's character is so much more multi-layered than people give it credit for. And I think that movie, that's why I like that movie so much. There's so many layers. It's not just this, evil entity. It's something more. Well, Sissy Spacek appeared in The Ring 2. That's the sequel to the remake with Naomi Watts, which is not a good movie. I think the American remake of The Ring with the girl in the well or whatever is the same woman. Yes, it is. It is. She just passed away. May she rest in peace. I like prequels. Yeah, listen, there's some good, bad, and ugly prequels, but this is a really good one to me. Let's see. Hey, Grande and all. Hey, Anthony, what's up, buddy? Hope all's well with you. I'm fine with prequels too. We got Texas THC 1965. What's going on? Hola, Grande. Have never seen any of the Japanese Ring movies, only American movies. Really? Wow, that's surprising. I highly recommend at least this and the 98 films you should watch. Ring 2 is not good. Rosin is fucking crazy. I kind of love Rosin because it's so fucking crazy, but that's just me. And I think Curly's with me. I think Curly likes Rosin as well. Hello, Anthony. I'm currently watching through. Oh, cool. Sadako's power could have been used for the good if people weren't jerks. That's it. It's exactly it. While she's the one being called a monster her whole life, the real monsters were us. And I know that the whole we're the monsters, Grande, that's been done to death, but I thought it was done perfectly here because us monsters created one. And that to me is really cool. I like how it's done. People talking, and let's see. Well, that's one I'll have to put on the list. Never saw it. To Tubi you go. Yes, it's on Tubi. You can watch it on Tubi, I think, for free. People talking. Who doesn't love a good face cleavering? Who doesn't, really? I mean, it's a great thing. Grande, do you like Japanese films in general, meaning samurai films, Yakuza ones, modern-day ones, real-life dramas such as Ozu's, other directors like Oshima, Kurosawa? Yeah, sure I do. The thing that for me though is that I love the horror genre over anything. I will take the horror genre over anything. That's my love. Have I seen films from those other directors you mentioned? Absolutely. But I don't love them the same as most people. To me, that's more for a general cinema fan that loves all cinema. And I do love all cinema, but to me, I am truly a horror fanatic. That's my love, man. Kurosawa is an icon. Absolutely. Other directors like Kobayashi, Imamura, yeah, listen, no, there's tons of good names you mentioned there. Check out Teshigahara's Woman in the Dunes, Pitfall, Face of Another Reality, existential horror films that are on Criterion. Very cool. Okay. Miko Kaji. Speaking of Miko Kaji, we went to the cinema. Miko Kaji was there. We saw Female Prisoner Scorpion in the cinema. We were with Curly and Anthony. We saw it in the movies, and she was in the building. It was really cool. Really enjoyed that movie too. Grande, I have so much stuff to watch. Still having some. Understood. Okay. So on to the next one. Let's do it. Ring 0 is awesome. We love Yuki Nakama. But what's up next on the chopping block? And it's going to be close. Oh, man, really close. What's it going to be? All right. It is Exte Hair Extensions. And yes, my friends, we've got a brief plot synopsis. After hair from a dead girl is sold as extensions, a deadly curse begins its wearers, pushing a hairdresser and her niece to uncover its dark origin and stop the horror. Yes, Exte Hair Extensions. My goodness, this is a wacky movie, but it does star one of my faves, Chiaki Kuriyama, who's an absolute Japanese actress legend. Love her in Battle Royale or Kill Bill, or I believe we also reviewed Shikoku, where she plays the villain in that. Here she plays the protagonist. Here she plays our lead, who is this aspiring bubbly hairdresser who's just 20 years old in the movie. Granted, Chiaki was a lot older than that in real life, but she just doesn't age. I think she's in her 40s now, and Chiaki still looks fucking, she could still pass for somebody younger than me. That's how good Chiaki looks to this day. A big fan of her. Just a pretty lady, really likable screen presence. And we watch her as she goes to every day this hairdressing place, and she's trying to kind of earn her name there. She's an up-and-comer. She's trying to kind of gain acceptance and become a full-time hairdresser there and kind of earn her stripes, right? She goes every day, and then one day she gets home and her sister has left her daughter on her doorstep, and you see that Chiaki's sister is this terrible abusive mother that hangs out with these terrible, grimy people, like these scuzzy scoundrel people that are using her for sex and giving her money for so. And then she kind of just drops off her kids and says, beat a kid, like gives the kid to Chiaki. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, this, don't drop your baggage on me. Like, I love my niece, but that's not mine. It's not my kid, So she's upset about that thing. And then meanwhile, what's going on in the background is we watch as this shipment comes in. It's giant barge, and it's all hair in this giant, like, military-sized crate. It's all this crazy long hair, and they kind of get the body out of there, and it's this one female, and the coroner kind of takes notice of it. He's like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful hair I've ever seen. And so he steals the corpse and starts taking the hair, cutting it, using it as hair extensions to sell to people. And basically what happens is her hair is cursed. And we learn that this body was desecrated and sold for organs on the internet and brutally just taken advantage of. We see the flashbacks of the girl that, her corpse, right? We see her organs were sold, and her hair is the only thing left that wasn't sold. So thus it takes vengeance on anybody that it comes in contact with. And he starts to kind of sell it. And some way or another, they kind of have their paths meet with Chiaki and this crazy hair obsessed guy. He's basically the guy in this. It's like the Crispin Glover character in the Charlie's Angels movies, where he's obsessed with smelling hair, rubbing hair on his body. He just loves hair, and that it is the weirdest character in the history of characters. Just such a fucking weird guy that celebrates hair. Like, it's fucking weird. And then Chiaki at the other end, she's trying to kind of get through life. She's trying to figure out the whole situation, right? Where her sister comes to her and says, all right, I'm here to pick the brat up. She's like, it's been a week. What the hell are you doing? And she finds bruises on the kid's body. So you know that she's abusing her own daughter. And she's like, I'm not giving you back the kid this easy. This is fucked up. You're beating her. You're hitting her. You're not treating her right. Like, what are you doing? And then they have this great kind of war of words where she goes, oh yeah, she goes, you're going to be the one to lecture me on kids. She goes, you aborted yours. And there's this really big, like, stunned silence where Chiaki starts crying, and the two girls kind of look at one another, and they're like kind of having this really intense discussion, right? Where one who's mistreating her child is judging the other who aborted her child. And it's a really interesting scene between two sisters, one that's ultimately good and one that's ultimately the opposite. And, she takes in the kid. She says, I'm not giving you back. She goes, fine, take the brat. I don't need the fucking brat, and then she kind of leaves. And now the cool thing about this movie is it's directed and written by Cian Sono. And I love Cian Sono. We've talked a bunch of Cian Sono on this channel. We reviewed Suicide Club. I believe that is the first ever Japanese horror movie I reviewed on the J Horror Specials way back a few years ago. We reviewed the Suicide Club. Love that movie. Love Suicide Club. Really good one. We also reviewed, I don't think we reviewed Cold Fish or Noriko's Dinner Table. Like, these are really, really good Cian Sono pictures that I'm a big fan of. I know John Hadfield Mascot's a big fan too. I'd love to have him on here to do like a Cian Sono special. That'd be a lot of fun. But Cian Sono, again, a really big inspiration to a guy like me, right? He's a guy that studied film up and down, so into it. And, honestly was a guy that did some things in his career. Like he made a lot of porn in his career, made a lot of horror in his career. But then in the midst of that, also has made some like 2.5, 3 hour epic Japanese films. They're just incredible. Like, oh my God, like I'm telling you, Cold Fish is one of the best. Like, go see that. Like, it's great. Noriko's Dinner Table, great movie. Like, he has made so many good movies. And then right here in the middle, you have a movie like this in his filmography, Exte Hair Extensions, that I can't quite put my finger on what he was going for. Now, I have theories, but I don't know. I've not ever really seen him talk about this movie. I've never seen Chiaki talk about this movie. I think my big kind of theory of this movie, Exte Hair Extensions, is that it's him kind of making fun of the J-horror movement, the J-horror boom of the old stereotypical, ghost girl with the long black dark hair, right? Your Sadakos, your Kayakos, your Izumis, as we'll go on to discuss in Scarecrow, or even the entity in One Missed Call. There's tons of entities of yesteryear, tons of things that had been discussed and touched on. I almost feel like this might have been his kind of throw at making it kind of a parody of it, but at the same time also being a serious horror film. It's really very odd. It's such a fascinating movie to me. Like, I can't quite put my finger on what he was going for, because it's effective as a parody, and it's also effective as a legitimate horror movie to me. Like, it does the best of both. There's some fun, interesting sequences with the hair extensions where they attack people, right? There's a scene where this one woman is wearing it while cutting a woman's hair, and you see she's wearing the extension. It goes in her ear, and all she does is visualize what happened to the owner of the hair, right? She sees her getting cut up and her organs being traded and things like that. And she starts to cry and then loses control and then just starts cutting up the customer while she's sitting there in the chair. And everyone's like, oh shit, what are you fucking doing, bitch? And she's not in control. One lady, she has some shorter hair, and she wants some longer chestnuts. So she takes the hair home with her, and she's, oh my God, look how good I look. She's getting ready for bed. She puts her head to the pillow, and all of a sudden the hair just starts fucking with her. It goes in her eyeballs. It comes out her mouth. She's pulling it out of her tongue. And then she gets into the living room and she's screaming. And then all of a sudden it stops. And she's like, all right, I'm good. I'm good. And all of a sudden the hair just sprouts out and grabs the ceiling and pulls this woman up. And she's like, oh shit. You know, the hair goes and then drops down and she's bald. And then the hair kind of just takes it. Like, that was a crazy gratuitous scene where the hair just fucks this one lady up, like worse than anybody else in the picture. We do get to see the mom, the evil mom of the abused child. We see her and her boyfriend. They're fucking around, and they have the piece of the hair extension. They tell the little girl to scram. They put her in the closet for the night because that's how they treat her, right? Sort of like Harry Potter, like get in the fucking closet under the stairs, bitch. She goes in there, and then all of a sudden they're touching the hair, and all of a sudden you just hear like insanity go on. You're like, what the fuck? And then she opens the closet and they're just massacred. The hair just massacred these two people, which it's like, oh, to nicer people, it couldn't happen. Like, these two absolute scumbags just get their just desserts. I love to see that happen. And then it all kind of culminates to this guy who's obsessed with the hair. He's obsessed with Chiaki's hair and the little girl, and he wants to kind of kidnap them. And then there's this whole kind of third act it's really goofy. The third act is beyond goofy. That's what makes me think they were almost parodying it, because the third act just doesn't feel serious whatsoever. Now, cool thing about this, it's sort of a Christmas horror movie. It takes place around Christmas. You hear the Silent Night, Holy Night, that you hear that throughout the picture kind of spliced out. You see Christmas trees being decorated. This is a Japanese Christmas horror movie in a way. It's not overtly Christmas, right? It's not snowing or anything outside. There's not Christmas decorations other than the one tree, but you know, if you're thinking for holiday horror movies that you haven't seen before, Exte Hair Extensions is you could do a lot worse. I don't think it's great, especially among Sion Sono's filmography. It's not as good as the movies I mentioned before. But in my opinion, too, if it is what I think it is, if it is telling the story of kind of like poking fun of what if we made something so ridiculous and just had so much fun with it that people would enjoy it. If that's the case, then yeah, I'm with it. Again, the serious moments get serious. And I think that's what I appreciated about this picture, as opposed to some other movies that are just so stupidly tongue-in-cheek that it becomes, I can't take this seriously anymore. Like, I liked the whole arc between, Chiaki and her niece, right? Here's a girl that aborted her child, didn't feel like she was fit to be a mother. And then as the movie goes on, she realizes that she can be a mother and that she can take care of this kid and that she can, kind of watch over her. And the film kind of ends where the two of them are, hey, like they're on the beach and she says, are we going to part ways? Am I going to go to adoption? She's like, hell no, like we're sisters now. And it's a really nice moment. I like this movie. I think this is good. It has a nice heart to it. Sion Sono's direction, it's crazy enough, it's wacky enough, it's a good watch, man. I liked Exte Hair Extensions. A little unique horror movie for sure. All right. We didn't meet Miko Kaji, but she was there. She was in the building when Curly, Anthony, and I were watching the movie. And she did a Q&A after, but we didn't get to see the Q&A. That was for a screening after us that was sold out. This movie makes me think of an old urban legend about a girl who dies after wearing a dress, use the dress as it's definitely in that vein, right? Hair extensions, horrible. Grande got to hear a Missy rant. Yeah, Missy hated this. I could use a slightly used internet organ. Don't we all? Couldn't we all? Dr. Howdy 6664. Grande and gang, how are you? What's up, Will? Hope all's well with you. Just got done filling my face with spare ribs and dumplings. Well, hell yeah, man. That's awesome. Let's see. Speaking of dumplings, what's that Japanese or Chinese movie where they're feeding dumplings? Oh, Jesus. Well, there is. So soy and green is different. That's okay. So the one you're thinking of is called Dumplings, and I believe that is a Hong Kong horror film directed by Fruit Chan. I believe that's the director, and I believe that was, I think it's a Hong Kong. Yeah, it's Hong Kong horror. And yes, the woman she's a aging actress, and she feels undesirable. Her husband's cheating on her, and she feels like she's getting wrinkly, and she goes to good old Aunt May to get these dumplings that will miraculously turn you younger, and it starts to turn her younger, only to find out that what she's eating is fetuses, and that's the whole. It's fucked up. I mean, when you first watch that, it's so good. There's a full length feature version, and then there's the short version in the movie Three Extremes, which either version works. And you can get, if you have the DVD or the Blu-ray of Three Extremes, you could watch the feature dumpling. It's good either way. Really, really good. I like dumplings. Love seeing Sono, but Exte wasn't it. It was wacky, weird, and crazy, but sadly bored me. Yeah, I mean, it's not amongst his best movies. It's just not. It's good. I don't mind it. It's not. I don't think it's terrible. And it's definitely, one that I didn't mind watching, especially I love Chiaki Kiriyama. Like, I watch anything with her in it. And I think she was really like good in this as a really likable character. And like you could see how much range she has. Like, she could play the ultimate villainous, entity in Shikoku, and then she could play a really, really likable babyface in a movie like this. Or in Kill Bill, she's a heel. Like, she's just good. I really like her. Just because you choose not to have an abortion, don't make you good, mom, evil bitch. Okay, so Miss C, not pro-abortion. Understood. What it's called, Dumplings. I seriously can't remember. It's called Dumplings. Three Extremes, the movie. Yes, it's in Three Extremes, but you could also watch the feature-length version, which is just called Dumplings. Hair Extensions was my test of my patience. Okay. Yeah, it's a good one. If you have it, Arrow put out a Blu-ray of it finally, and that Blu-ray looks awesome. I love the 3 segments. It's you have Takashi Miike does the segment at the end called Box, and then the middle segment is called Cut. And that one's incredible movie. Park Chan-wook does that segment. It's really good. That's one of the best horror anthologies ever. That's like my number 2 horror anthology. Grande, have you seen Tetsuo the Iron Man? Of course I have. Kind of crazy, funny, maybe sad. Oh, of course. I love Tetsuo the Iron Man. That's like a Japanese staple, man. It's good enough. It's smart enough. Yeah, doggone it, people like it. The Untold Story. Oh boy, that's a different movie. Whoa, I totally forgot or didn't know it was fetuses. Ew. Yeah, when you said Soylent Green, I was like, not that part, but yeah, that's the big twist in it. It is fetuses. We had Stuckus Dive in the house. Welcome, Stuckus. Hope all is well with you. Nice. Yeah, no, absolutely. I highly recommend that one. But let's get back to the wheel and let's make a deal. Only on Grande's Graveyard. 3 movies remain. We're halfway through. What is next on the chopping block? And looks like it's going to be Vanished from the year 2006. Yes, Vanished. Let's see the brief plot synopsis here. And okay, Obeyubi Sagashi, or the English title, Vanished, tells the story of 5 childhood friends who meet at a high school reunion and reminisce about their friend Yumiko, who vanished, quote unquote, I guess the play on the title there, when they were kids. Yumiko vanished while playing a game with the group, and in modern day, the group decides to play this game once more. As soon as they do, they begin to be haunted by the ghost of Yumiko and are picked off one by one. Yes, Vanished. There's a big reason I picked this movie. There was initially I said I wanted to pick Japanese horror movies with actresses that I really liked, and I saw that this was the last film from an actress that I have a big crush on. I can't lie to you. Yuki Nakama has my heart forever as far as Japanese women, but if there's a 1B, it's this woman right here who starred as Tomie in Tomie Another Face, Runa Nagai, or Runa Nagi. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but one of the most beautiful fucking women of all time. I am serious when I say that. I have the biggest crush on her, and I loved her as Tomie in this movie. And I know that this was her last movie that she ever acted in. The only other appearance she made otherwise. Now, this is a really cool thing, and for Perfect Blue fans, you might want to hear this. Runa Nagai also is on the Blu-ray, DVD, whatever. If you have the edition of Perfect Blue, there's a special feature where Satoshi Kon goes over his analysis as a director of the picture. It's like a setting of a classroom. And the woman hosting it is Runa Nagai. It was the last thing she ever appeared of in show business. She apparently quit the business, became a nurse, and I literally have never seen her again in 20 years. We've not seen her in pictures. We've not seen her anywhere. I don't know if she's on social media anywhere. I don't know. But, man, I wonder what she's doing because she's one of those beautiful women of all time. And I knew she was in this movie, and I was like, wow, this looks like a Japanese horror / neo-horror movie. I was sold. I was like, I want to see this so bad. It kind of sounds a little bit like Stephen King's It, right? Where friends kind of get together after losing another friend and kind of face the ghost of their past, similar vein and setup to Stephen King's It. And I got news for you. It's a lot better than the remake of Stephen King's It. I don't know if it's better than the original, but it's a pretty decent Japanese horror movie as we follow these 5 friends who, like I said, are meeting up again at their high school reunion. And it's been all these years since they were children. They all kind of meet at this table. And I like the way they did it. They all pick out random numbers and they all, by fate, get the same table. And they all kind of sit down and they start to reminisce about their lives. And we hear that most of them haven't really gone on to do much, right? We have one guy that's a wannabe artist. We have Runan, a guy who has not really been as social as she's wanted to be. We have some really good performances in this movie. The best one by Ayumi Ito is in this movie. I wasn't as familiar with her work, but I want to see more pictures with her in it because she was the standout. Like, she was, as far as horror cinema goes, you don't see performances as good as Ayumi Ito's in this. Like, she is absolutely incredible in this movie. I love her performance. She's great. We follow her and we watch all these characters as they all kind of, they're young adults, right? But they feel like they haven't earned or yearned or done anything yet. They all feel like they're kind of wasted their potential or spinning their wheels proverbially. And, they meet back up and they start to talk at the table and they go outside and they talk about their friend that went missing all these years ago. And her name was Yumiko. And Yumiko went missing when they played this game called Find the Thumb. And the whole game was you kind of stand around in the circle. One person keeps their eyes open. The other people keep their eyes closed. They circle around. And then the ideology is that you imagine yourself in this room. And if you find a certain object in the room, you can make a wish and the wish will come true. But if you don't find it in time and the ghost gets you of Yuko, she grabs you by the shoulder, she has no thumb. And that's kind of the urban legend. It's a ghost with just 4 fingers. She grabs you and there's no thumb. And you'll go missing and vanish forever. And these kids, they flash back to when they were children. They played this game and their friend actually went missing. And they can't find her. And then they show throughout the film, we see spurts and splices of yesteryear of when the kids were playing the game and the girl going missing and all of them kind of freaking out and crying. Then next thing you know, the police are there and they're saying, we played this game, the ghost got her, and the police are like, what the fuck are these kids talking about, right? These are little kids that don't know anything about anything, so they don't believe their words earnestly, and yet their friend really got taken away. And then the whole kind of thing plays out from there where they decide to play the game again. What if we played the game again for old time's sake? What if we could get her back? What if we could make her reappear, right? What if we wished for her to come back if we get in the room and we do it right? They play the game again, and then slowly but surely, one by one, they're all picked off in mysterious and creepy ways. And like, I like this. I'm a sucker for movies like this. Some people may say it's a generic movie. I can understand that because the setup is rather run of the mill, right? There's a terrible movie called Crazy Eights. That's this very similar vibe and setup to that. Granted, that preceded this, I believe. Crazy Eights was like an American version of this, and it was terrible. Like, to me, Crazy Eights is a terrible version of a movie like this. Like, this is so much better in every single way and shape and form. But we watched our characters, and I thought the scare sequences were really the highlight here. I love. There's a great scene where Runa Nagai, she remembers taking this toy from her as a kid and burying it in the schoolyard. And she runs out to the schoolyard. It's pouring rain in the middle of the night. And she goes to where she thinks she buried it. She digs it up and finds it and thinks that if she finds this, that she'll be spared of the curse. So she'll be spared of being picked off by this evil entity. And it's a great scene as the thunder is crashing and the lightning and the rain is just pounding sideways on her umbrella. And she looks left. She looks right. She keeps looking all these ways, and you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Then we do a wide shot of her squatting on the ground, and you're like, where is this fucking entity going to come out of? Like, what the fuck? And then all seems okay, and then all of a sudden the arm grabs her with no thumb, and she kind of panics and vanishes herself. And we get that for a lot of the characters, right? We have one guy, he goes to the swing set, and he remembers on the swing set with him and the girl as a kid. He kind of reminisces, and he sits down on the swing, and all of a sudden she appears next to him. Like, I like that. I like the gags. Like, I thought all that stuff really worked well. And I think that the acting here was good. It sets a good hook. It gets you hooked into the story really well. I like the mystery and the intrigue, and you waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? You're waiting for things to go so horribly wrong. And I liked that about this movie. I thought that stuff really worked. On the other hand, though, on the crazy hand, is my biggest issue with this movie is red herrings. They for some fucking reason decided to go all out with red herrings in this movie. Like, and to the point where it's like, dude, one too many. What do I mean by that? So, spoilers. We hear the story of the girl that went missing, and we hear the story of the curse of the woman with, no thumb. Hear of that. We hear stories throughout the movie, and they're told and retold over and over and over. The big twist, the big spoiler, is none of that stuff happened. Nothing supernatural was going on. The big twist is that we finally see when they were kids, the whole thing play out in sequence. This one girl that went missing, that vanished, was hiding in this kind of air duct. When all the kids closed their eyes to play the game, she ran over to this air duct and kind of locked herself in. She fell, hit her head, and died in the air duct, and nobody ever found the body because she was in this air duct. So her skeleton, her corpse, is there forever. It's in the air duct. And the supernatural things that we see are from our lead male character who's hallucinating all of these things. And what's really happening to the people is they're not being picked off by an entity. They're being picked off by him. He's imagining himself as the entity, and he's the one picking them off one by one. We see it as a ghost killing them, but the big twist is that it's him killing them the whole time. I like the twist. I think it could have been much more, what's the word I'm looking for? It could have been much more organically delivered and executed. I don't think it was delivered that well. I was like, man, this is a little bit messy. I don't think this really works. The execution of everything, it feels kind of sloppily done, because again, we spent so much time on this ghost and so much time on that ghost, only to realize that they didn't matter. They didn't really have any. The only thing they mattered in they were all in his head. He was thinking of them and thinking these things were going on while he wasn't consciously killing these people off. Instead, he was just sort of subconsciously doing it. An interesting twist. We have a really good third act where the end of the movie. The third act itself is kind of clunky. But the very finale where, the friends kind of converse with each other, and he realizes that he's the one that killed off some of his friends, and he just breaks down. And there's a great scene where he says, I promised I'd find her. I promised I'd go back and get her. And you see this flashback to where she says, listen, if I go missing, you make sure you come back and find me. And he says, I will. I promise you I will. And then he, of course, can't find her because she's in this air duct. Nobody knew about it. And then the end, he kind of finds it, and then her body goes from like a skeleton to just completely disintegrating before him, because now he's found the ghost in his closet. Now he's confronted the demon within his own self. And I thought that was really smart. Like, I thought all that stuff was really good. It honestly hits a wall somewhere, and it's one too many red herrings. Like, I get it. I get having a red herring, and I get doing that big twist. I just think it could have been better executed. Like, I don't think he needed two Onryos, if you will. I don't think you needed two vengeful spirits, right, to discuss and which one is doing it, why, blah, blah, blah. I don't think you need any of that. I think you could have just had it be one Onryo, and then, the big twist at the end was it never was an Onryo. The Onryo was in his head. The Onryo was the guilt that he felt for never finding the girl, and there is horror in that. And I think that was a better way to go about it, but again, it just feels a little clunky. Always good to see Runa Nagai, literally one of the most beautiful women in the history of women. So I was entertained by her, and then everybody else was a really good actor too. So I really liked Vanish for the most part. I think this is a good movie. If you can get over some of the usage of red herrings, I think this is one to check out. And I love this. I love the cover. It's so neo horror. Like, that's so like 1999, like all the characters' faces in the circle, dressed up, and then the villain above them. Like, I love that. Like, that cover is so neo to me. I just love that, man. Let's see. Not too many. This plot makes me think of the horror series Pretty Little Liars. It's much more. It's like it. It's a lot like it. But the big twist is there is no Pennywise. Like, the Pennywise is one of the group, which I thought was a decent twist. Yep, I have that Perfect Blue, really great stuff. Yeah, Perfect Blue is awesome. And yeah, no, when I had watched that feature years ago, not knowing who that was, and then when I saw Tell Me Another Face, I'm like, this lady looks familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. And then I was like, holy shit, like that is crazy, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame she didn't go on to do much. Like, what a damn shame. Like, what a beautiful lady. She should have been a model, if anything. Like, I'm shocked she became a nurse. Like, somebody that beautiful, you do not have to be a nurse, man. I'm really hoping you could tell me where to find Vanish. This sounds really good. Therein lies the problem. You see, a lot of these are really a bitch to find. None were harder to find than this. Nick Reap found it for me. I will ask him, but I have no unearthly idea how he found it. Like, there's no DVD, there's no Blu-ray, nothing, at least states-wise, that I know of, a way to watch this. Some people are better than me at finding movies on the internet. I suck at it. That's why, thankfully Nick Reap is like my go-to with that. He always is able. He's like, I got you. This was one even he was like, yeah, forget it. I was like, wow. And then he found it, months and months later. And I was like, I'll have to review that on the show one of these days. And that's why I wanted to discuss it. The wraps are here. Yeah, the wraps are returned. But Vanished, pretty good one. I thought it was pretty good. I like this movie. I think it's a pretty decent movie. And then there were two. What's it going to be? And oh boy, all right. It looks like we're going to save the best for last here. The Wheel of Torture has decided our fate, and it is the other of the Junji Ito adaptations. This is from the year 2001, and also again from director Norio Tsuruda from Ring Zero. He makes a return on this list. This is Scarecrow. The search for her vanished brother leads Kaoru to the lonesome village Kazukata in the Japanese backland. The locals react repelling to her, with the exception of a Chinese girl named Sally, who is reported missing. As her car breaks down a tunnel, Kaoru is trapped in the village. It is here where she learns of an ancient festival the town is preparing for and how it could be thwarted by the evil spirit Izumi that has taken over her brother. Yes, Scarecrows. Now, I broke this book out before because I wanted to show off the Junji Ito collections that I have, and I wanted to just turn to the page that it is. It's 259, which we're going to go right there. And this was based off of a short story from Junji Ito called Scarecrow, which is right here on this page. And the short story is tremendous. The short story is better than the movie that we get here. But that's not to say that I didn't really like the movie too. I thought the movie was pretty solid overall. Now, the lead actress I wasn't as familiar with. Her name is Maho Nanami, and this was like the one and only horror movie that she ever did. But the reason I wanted to watch this was so bad, speaking and keeping in the vein of damn all these Japanese beautiful girls, Ko Shibasaki plays the evil entity Izumi in this. Ko Shibasaki is our lead main antagonist. And you may remember her from Battle Royale as Mitsuko, my favorite character of Battle Royale. Tons of good movies. In America, she did 47 Ronin with Keanu Reeves. Really like her in that movie. She did a great movie called Go in the same year, 2001. Really another really good one. Like One Missed Call. She's the lead of One Missed Call. Really like Ko Shibasaki. Big crush on her too, and she's still acting to this day. Like, she's a big deal in Japan. Like, Ko Shibasaki is a fucking big star, and I really, really enjoy her work as an actress. And I was solely like, Ko Shibasaki is an evil Onryo. Like, give me that fucking movie. And then, it's based off a short story by Junji Ito. Give me that movie again. Like, I was so excited to watch this. And for the most part, it delivers. We follow our lead character, Kaoru, and she is missing her brother. Her brother has been missing for about a week. And she goes to his apartment. She finds this long letter from a long lost love named Izumi that's telling him, come to this town. And so she reads the letter and she kind of panics, and she gets in her car and she starts driving over to this town that's mentioned in the letter. And as she's driving, she sees this wanted, a missing person poster of this Chinese woman named Sally that's gone missing. And then she drives into the tunnel and her car breaks down. And she's like, what the fuck? It's almost like Spirited Away. If you're familiar with Spirited Away, the beginning of it feels a lot like Spirited Away, where their car is in front of the tunnel. They walk down this long tunnel, and it's like they're not just inserted into a different town. It's like a different world. And that's what happens in this movie with Kaoru. She walks down the tunnel of Spirited Away fame. Funny enough, came out the same year, or maybe even same year. It was 2001. She walks out the other end of this tunnel. And then she's inserted into this town, and it almost feels like The Wicker Man, where all these people are treating her very hostile-like and very, very standoffish. Like, they'll stop what they're doing. It's one of those movies where everyone stops what they're doing to just stare at this woman, right? Like, because they know she's an outsider. And she meets this one man who's collecting scarecrows, and she says, what the hell are you collecting scarecrows for? And he says, well, we're doing this festival where, we dress up scarecrows as our former loved ones, our loved ones that have passed on. And if we dress them like the people that we used to know and love, then the ideology is they'll come back to life and inhabit the Scarecrow. They will come back to life as a Scarecrow. And this is this big festival that goes on in this town where all these people that are grieving over the ones that they've loved and lost, they want to participate and get their loved ones back via this Scarecrow. Now, all of this has gone good over time. There is no such Pet Cemetery-esque twist of sometimes dead is better and better stay off that road now, yeah? No, there's none of that in it. The festival has gone well for years and years, and these people kind of return, and while they're, Tin Man-esque in the way they move, while there might not be much on going upstairs, it is what it is in the vein of, a situation where these people are not evil, right? They're not human. They're not blood and flesh like you and I, but they're not evil entities or malicious or anything like that. It's gone well until the whole situation with Caro and her brother. Her brother has gone missing, right? Where is he? He's in this town somewhere. He's got to be. He went looking for Izumi, who was the love of his life, played by Ko Shibasaki, and she has passed away. And our lead meets Izumi's parents, and through series of dream sequences, Caro meets Izumi, and Izumi goes on and on about her life and her story and her pain. And she keeps talking about how she's going to be resurrected in this Scarecrow festival and take the brother to be hers once and for all. And like, the scare sequences, I love how it's done. I love the dream sequences. They keep Ko Shibasaki in the shadows a lot. She's just kind of sitting in the fetal position on the staircase with the hair over her head, and she's kind of talking to her like, I loved your brother Kaoru. And you could get the sensibility that she felt a great sense of jealousy and anger and resentment towards her boyfriend's sister, right? She felt a great sense of anger towards Kaoru and her, possession of her, right? Because they didn't have their parents. She doesn't have many friends. So she and her brother were very close. And I think Izumi took such exception to that. Like, you're the reason that we're not together. And thus kind of draws her spirit into this vengeful, evil, dark place that wants revenge against this woman for something she didn't even really do. And that's kind of her character. And then the whole thing kind of plays out very interestingly. Like, there's some really interesting horror nods in the movie. There's a very interesting callback to Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland. There's a scene where Ko Shibasaki points and does the that great scene with Veronica Cartwright and Donald Sutherland in Invasion of the Body Snatchers in '78, where he's kind of pointing and they do that with Ko Shibasaki in this movie. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that is a crazy callback. And they do it in Ring Zero briefly too. So I guess that must have been a really big influence for Norio, which is pretty cool to see a nod to a movie like that in here. Yeah, there is a lot of American influence here though. There's totally some Wicker Man vibes, totally some Invasion of the Body Snatcher vibes, stuff like that, Pet Cemetery vibes. Like, there's tons of American feel to this movie. And I think that kind of gave it a unique kind of flavor, where it was like, let's take an Ito story, let's Americanize it a little bit, but still shoot it and make it with Japanese actors and talent. And I thought all that stuff worked. Again, Norio does a great job at building this really, dreadful society, this really somber, that's a great way to put this. This is somber horror 101. It's very slow. It's very plodding. It's very monotonous, but I think in a good way. I think in a very beneficial way to the story that this movie was telling. I think that it had to kind of go at that pace to slowly build and to get to that ultimate payoff of the festival when that happens. And when that happens, I think it is a little bit to be desired. It's not as good of a finale. Like, the destination is not as good as the climb with Scarecrow. I would say that. Like, I think the beginning and middle are better than the ultimate end. But I don't know. There's something about it that works. I really like the lead actress. I thought she did a good job. I like she has this chemistry with this one girl who she doesn't want to leave the town because her father is a Scarecrow there and she can't let him go. That's the Chinese woman that was missing. And we see her on the poster. She doesn't want to leave this town because she doesn't want to leave her father. But the whole point is, it's like, that's not really him. That's not really the guy. He's made of straw now. He's not, like, the lights are on, nobody's home. And I think that's, again, the point that it's trying to say, in a similar vein to a Pet Cemetery, where you can lose your loved ones. They can come back. They cannot be as evil or malevolent as a movie like Pet Cemetery. But here they are just kind of objects, right? They're straw. There's not anything going on upstairs. There's nothing that makes them anymore other than their look and their feel, right? And even their feel in and of that. The cool scare sequences, though, there's a fun sequence where this woman, she's kind of trying to get her baby to stop crying, and the woman walks over and she goes, "Oh, can I see your baby?" She sees it, and the baby is just a scarecrow. It's all straw. She's like, "What the fuck?" And looks at this lady, and she just kind of gives her this evil smile. I popped for that. I was like, yes, I thought that was great. There's this great guy that he gets his arm taken off, and it's just all straw. And then the ultimate finale, which I thought was such a weird ending. So, spoiler alert, if you're looking to see Scarecrow, granted, good luck finding it. Not an easy movie to find, especially with the subtitles. We get to the finale where Izumi is resurrected, and throughout the picture, her mother is going to the Scarecrow and putting her hands on the sides of Izumi's head and like kind of rubbing her hair and stuff like that. And then Izumi finally comes to, Ko Shibasaki finally back to life, and she does the same to her mother. She puts her hands on her mother's head and snaps the mom's neck. And I was like, oh shit, this crazy bitch. I thought that was amazing. I was like, oh no. And then she kind of walks over and sees the boyfriend, and is this a dream or is this just fantasy, as they kind of embrace each other? But he knows that it's not going to be right. And he knows that she's come back with vengeance and as a malevolent spirit. So he sets them both on fire. And it's then where the Chinese woman and our lead, Karo, they make a run for it. They're like, we got to get the fuck out of here before all hell breaks loose. And they get to the tunnel. And basically before they get out, we hear Karu's brother call to her, Karu, come back, Karu. And she looks and she has this moment of, what do I do? Do I go back to the society that I don't have anything left in, right? I came here because the brother was the only thing that she had. She came here to find him and to rescue him and get him out of Dodge. Now that's not a reality. Now he's gone. Now all that's left is the Scarecrow before her. Can you leave that? Can you abandon that? Even when you know that it's not him anymore. And I think that that's a big topic of horror that a lot of people face and a lot of people have faced in life, of the question of, well, what if you could get the one that you love back? What if you could spend another day with a loved one that has sadly passed on? What would you do? What would you do it in the face of that situation, or would you run away? And it's at the moment at the end where Sally, the other girl's like, it's not him. You just told me my father wasn't a person anymore either. Like, don't go back. Don't go into that tunnel, man, because you will not come out. And it's kind of back and forth and stuff like that. And then it ultimately just ends where she's walking back with a big smile on her face. And we see she's walking towards the brother as we fade to black. And I thought that was a really, like, when they ended there, I was like, wow, like, I didn't see that coming. Like, I thought they'd get out of Dodge and then, Better Sense would be the winner here. But no, like, the Better Sense lost out. She ends up just saying, there's nothing for me there now. Like, I have to go and be with my brother, even if he's just a Scarecrow now. Really good. I thought pretty good overall, like a decent enough horror movie that I think deserves a little bit more love than it gets. I wish to God they would do another J-Horror Rising set, and I could get a Blu-ray of this. Like, I would take this over Inugami. I would take this over St. John's Wort. Like, give me a movie like this on Blu-ray. Like, I'd be much more interested in that. Not watched Audition yet? Really? Oh, man, I'm curious. And that's going to be the last movie we discuss here tonight. That's the last movie on the Wheel of Torture. People talking. Audition is really good, but some of a hard watch to me. But maybe it won't get to you. What Ito collection is that, Grande? Okay, so this is called Statues. This is relatively new. It came out this year, and it has, I think, 9 or 10 short stories in it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's 10 stories in it. I'm almost done with this now. I have 3 more stories to go. Red Thread was really good. The Bridge was amazing. The Circus Has Come to Town was fucking insane. There's a bunch of people dying in a circus to try to appease this woman. Like, I don't know. I'm a big Ito fan. This is a really good short story collection of his that I personally really liked. And Scarecrow is in here. You can watch, or you can read Scarecrow is a part of that one. So, and then Deserter this is more of like his early work. This is a lot of his earlier stories that have been adapted in other American manga book releases before, but this kind of puts them all together and gives you a better price. So yeah, that's what those two are that I grabbed here. One Missed Call, I have to check that out. I love One Missed Call. That's Takashi Miike, who also does Audition. We'll get into that just coming up here. We got a bunch of raps returning. We've got the Revival House now. Grande, my man, welcome, Revival House. Hope all is well with you, man. I don't know if it's one or the other here, but hope all is well with both of you, Todd or Aaron. Good people, really nice guys. Let's see, more raps, and then I do not have that Ito Cole yet. ... Yet. I'm sure it's going to be added to the collection soon. But that brings us to the finale. That brings us to the last movie. I guess we could have it do its victory lap here. And this is the oldest film on the list, from the year 1999, and director Takashi Miike, lead actress Ii Shina. And this is none other than one of the most infamous Japanese movies ever. Not just Japanese horror movies, Japanese movies ever. I'm talking about Audition. Audition from the year 1999. Brief plot synopsis. A whittler has his film producer friend organize a fake audition as means of helping him find a new girlfriend. But the woman he selects is not who she appears to be. Yes, based on the novel by Ryu Murakami and starring Ryu Ishibashi, who is an awesome actor, and I've seen him in tons of other movies as well. Man, when you talk about Audition, you're talking about a movie that in a lot of ways struck a nerve in horror cinema forever. And last week we talked all about, the modern day movies that are kind of striking the nerve right now. Movies like Obsession that really hit home with people, and movies last year like Weapons or Sinners or whatever. Every now and again we get horror movies that truly strike a nerve within us and change the genre, whether it be for the better, whether it be for the worse. But Audition is one of those movies that changed horror forever, and to me is one of the all-time great horror pictures, and definitely one of the all-time great Japanese movies. To me, and I love this. I see this is a version of I like the retro cover better than this is fine. I don't mind the newly commissioned from Arrow, this 4K. But man, this just screams 2002, which was when the DVD was released in the States. Now the movie was released in Japan in cinemas in 1999, but it wasn't seen in the States until 2002. This was a movie that kind of dropped on DVD in 2002 and truly was the word of mouth horror movie of the community. And it spawned so many movies that took great influence from it. Like Eli Roth always says that there wouldn't have been a Hostel if it wasn't for Audition. And James Wan said there wouldn't have been a Saw if it wasn't for a movie like Audition. There's a lot of movies that from the torture porn era, if you will, that kind of look at this as their big influence. And like, that's totally fine. And there's a reason that we always see this classic image of Ii Shina and the needle on the cover, right? That's the thing that everybody remembers about this movie, is that finale, is that torture sequence. But I think Audition is so much more than just a torture sequence. And to me, it's a great movie. Somebody had mentioned before, I think it was Arthur, that mentioned, the horrors of love and the horrors of desire. And we watch as our lead character of the movie, who obviously, like I said, is played by Ryu Ishibashi. He loses his wife. His wife is on her deathbed when the picture opens, and he's crying and he's sad and he's losing her. He's holding her hand, and we see that she flatlines and he loses his wife. And we fast forward 7 years later. He's a single dad. Money is not an issue for him, but his issue is he's not really satisfied in life, right? He hasn't really found the woman since his wife. He hasn't moved on from her, and he's kind of depressed about it. And the son says to him, he's like, Dad, listen, I love Mom too. It's been 7 years. Like, you got to get yourself out there again. You got to get back into the dating scene, old man. You got to do it. You got to stop, playing around, because you're starting to wear a bit thin. You're starting to look a bit old. You're starting to weather. And the father sees this as a big red alert. He's like, oh my God, like I got to get the hell out there. I got to meet my next woman. I got to meet the woman to replace my wife. And so there's a great scene where he sits down with his colleague from work, and the two of them are talking, and he says, well, what about an arranged marriage? And what about this? And what about that? And they're batting around ideas until they ultimately get to the audition. What if we did an audition where we took 30 Japanese actresses, wannabe actresses, singers, dancers, what have you. We make up a fake script and we get them to come in, and the audition we'll tell them is for this part in the movie. But what it really is an audition to be your girlfriend. And there is horror in that. That is a fucking crazy, scummy thing to do, to take 30 women that you are telling them it's one thing. Hey, we want you to be this singer ballerina in this bad movie script that we got going, to tell them and lie to them and do that. And basically what you're doing is you're sitting there and scouting them to see if they will measure up to what you find satisfying in life, right? Will this woman be the woman by my side when I'm the one to pass away? Will this woman be the woman that I have kids with next, right? These are questions that he asks himself. And it's one night where he's going over the resumes that he spills his coffee on the resume of Ihi Shina, who, I mean, you can't understate her performance in this either. It truly is one of the best performances ever put to celluloid. I'm not kidding when I say that. She is amazing in this movie as a woman named Asami, who at first seems like a white angel, right? Dressed into the white and very soft-spoken, very mild-mannered, very calm, cool, and ultimately collected. A woman that writes this beautiful essay that I think a clever thing that not many people catch on to. I think a lot of people always just go, oh, well, he thinks she's hot. No shit, he thinks she's hot. But at the same time, I think her words, her mind, that's what he's really, what kind of gets him going. He reads her whole thing and he goes, my God, this woman seems mature beyond her years. She seems like an adult. And that's what he's looking for, because that's what he is, right? He's a little bit older. So he's looking for a more mature woman, and her words get him going. And there's the great scene in the audition where he's like a fucking kid. He's leaning over the table. He's so into what she's saying. It's almost comical. And the guy kind of next to him kind of looking at him like, my God, you really like, it's not like a casual, you like this woman. You really like this woman. You could see it on his face. And they start dating and they go on dates. And I love the conversations. I love I never knew what it was to be happy. So unhappy is happy to me. And some of the backstory that you hear, like, oh, my uncle used to burn me and my uncle tortured me and my mom and dad didn't love each other. So they let me live with my terrible uncle. And you learn through bits and glimpses of conversations that she's had this dark past, but we don't really know what's behind closed doors. And it's our lead's colleague that's trying to warn him, I can't find anybody that knows her. I don't know anyone that knows her. This is a red flag. Like, I know you think she's pretty. I know you think she's mature. I know that she's checking off all the boxes for you, but the biggest red flag, the biggest get out of the burning building that you're walking into, brother, is the fact that we don't know who this bitch is. We don't know her backstory. We don't know anyone that knows her. And he's telling him and warning him, you can't do this. Don't do this. Just drop it. Walk away. And he can't do it. It's like, he's like, no, like, this is the one for me. I know what I'm getting myself into. And he's kind of lying about it. And listen, that's something that we've all done. I'm not going to bring up names or anything, but like, I have dated people that I know probably were not the best, but I really love her. I really feel for her. She's really beautiful, right? These are things that happen. We do trick ourselves into these things of getting next to people that aren't ultimately the ones for us, but yet because of our blindness for whatever it is that we are attracted to them by, whether it be their looks, whether it be their personality, whether it be their intellectual nature, no matter what that is, these things do happen in real life. We do look past red flags when it comes to dating, when it comes to women or men, whatever you're into, it doesn't matter. That's something that we've all done. And he's like, no, I'm good. This is the one for me, until we see what's behind her closed doors, right? We see as she's kneeled down, slumped over by the telephone, just waiting for it to ring like a fucking crazy person. We see this bag on the floor and it starts to move. And then all of a sudden we see the person in the bag has no limbs and cut off fingers and ears and no tongue. And she's feeding the guy vomit that was legitimately real, what people don't ever talk about with this movie. I know everybody mentions the torture scene. I don't even think that's the most brutal scene in the movie. The most brutal scene in the movie is Ihi Shina and her method acting. What do I mean by that? Ihi Shina's method acting in this movie caused her to throw up in a dog bowl for real and feed it to the fucking actor that was playing the guy with the less fingers and no limbs and things like that. Like, that happened for real. She threw up in the bowl. That crazy lady is so into the acting, didn't want to do it for a fake, wanted to actually throw up and feed this guy vomit. Like, that is a crazy motherfucker. And I'd love to meet her. I know she's doing the convention circuits now, so it's only a matter of time. I'd love to meet Ihi Shina because I think she's great in this. And, she goes on to be in stuff like Tokyo Gore Police or Vampire Girl versus Frankenstein Girl, like tons of fun horror movies and stuff like that. But they never rival or reach the epitome of her character of Asami in this. And it all kind of culminates to the two of them one passionate night have sex, and he sees the scars in her body. They have sex, and then when he wakes up, she's gone. As just as soon as she's arrived, she's gone, and he starts to kind of look into her past, right? He meets the uncle that tortured her, and his feet are all cut off, and he says, "Oh, you've had her, huh?" And he starts laughing in the guy's face. And this is where Takashi Miike starts to become very artsy and doing a lot with the lighting of the movie. We get some deep blues, some deep reds, some really fun usages of color, some really great shots of people talking at dinner, and then we're all of a sudden we're at a different conversation, a different night at a different dinner. He's intersplicing people from Asami's past, present, and future. The small girl of Asami, the innocent girl that has grown up into this vengeful, hateful woman that just despises what this man has done to her because she's not a fool. She doesn't play into the game. She knows that the audition was not an audition for a role. She knows it was an audition for him, and she knows that. She even says that to him when you get to the most infamous scene in this movie, where she drugs his drink. He falls down to the ground, and we get the scene that transpires where she ultimately tortures him, right? And she says deeper, deeper, deeper in Japanese, and she's stabbing him with these needles in his face and his tongue and his body and his gut, all over his body. Just crazy when you first see it. You're like, oh my God. And then pops out the bone saw cutter, right? And saws off one of his legs and throws it against the window like it was a piece of glass or something like that. Like just completely no sense of anything there. Tortures this guy beyond belief until his son somehow comes home. The best timing in the world. She tries to get him. There's a struggle. He kicks her. She falls down to the stairs to her death. And to me, you get one of, if not the best shot of this whole movie, is the shot of her laying there with the latex black gloves, long hair. She's looking on her side. And we see she makes eye contact with the protagonist. The two of them make eye contact with one another, and she starts to talk and repeat herself, right? We hear the words that she said to us through the whole movie, on this date or that date, about this incident or that incident. And what we have is she plays out the whole movie in dialogue. And to me, what's so great about it is here's two people that I know a lot of people want to say, hey, this is a a pro-feminism movie. This is an anti-man horror movie. I hear what you're saying when you say that, but I think you're grasping for straws. I really do. If you see that and like it for that, that's fine. I don't think that's the story that they were going for here. And I know Miike has always said there's no way. That's not what I was intending for. But he says that people love to interpret it that way. To me, what you have at the end of the day is two very immoral people. You have Ryu, who, of course, was doing a terrible thing, right? Lost his wife, feel bad for the guy. His son says, get yourself back out there. Oh, let's do it in a terribly immoral way and audition people, not like they're people, but like they're cattle, right? Which cow is going to be the one for me? Which is going to be my next woman? Which one is going to satisfy me in between the sheets, right? That's where his immorality comes. But while he is a liar, so is Asami. Asami is a liar as well. She's lying from the minute we meet her. That whole facade of the dressed in white and, oh, I'm this innocent ballerina, blah, blah, blah. All of that, it's all lies too. She's been lying too. And like, to me, what's so good about it is that final look at one another and the two of them locking eyes one last time of being like, we're not so different, you and I. We're not. And like, even though what I did was terrible and you tortured me and I'm going to be without my foot for the rest of my life and forever going to be remembering this particular moment, for Asami, it's all over. It's all ended. Now she can rest in peace. Now the demons can lie, right? Because for a woman that wanted revenge against this man and for against anybody that had ever wronged her in her life, which just, again, happened to be all men, which I could see why people always say, oh, this is a misogynist / feminist movie. It totally, I could hear why. I could hear totally what your argument is there. To me, you can't understate the importance and how much of a nerve that final scene struck in not just Japanese culture, but American culture. The thing with this movie in Japan is that it wasn't really celebrated. It came and went. When you look at the box office numbers for Audition, this movie didn't even make $200,000 in its theatrical run. This was seen by next to nobody. And Miike has always famously said the reaction in Japan of Audition was there was no reaction. Nobody gave a fuck. And Ihishina has always said that, listen, I have fucking gone to restaurants in Japan. I live in Japan. I reside in Japan. I'm in Japan every day. She goes, people don't come up to me. People don't say, oh my God, are you the girl from Audition? She said it didn't change my life in Japan. Where it changed her life, where it changed the genre, was here in the States, was in America, was in Western civilization. When this came to DVD in 2002, people were actually freaking the fuck out when they rented this or saw this on DVD. And they were just like, oh my God, that's the craziest movie. It became the midnight movie to rent. It became the movie to go to Blockbuster and seek out. Hey, do you have that crazy one where the lady tortures the guy at the end? Is Audition? Oh, I need that movie. It slowly but surely kind of garnered this giant cult following in the Western civilization and birthed an entire movement that, let's face it, wasn't really the goal of what this movie was trying to be. I don't look at this as the torture movie. No, it's not. That's not what it is. To me, if you want to say it's a torture movie, yeah, you could talk about the tortured soul of Asami, of Ihishina. You could talk about, what this guy has done and the obsession that he has with her in order to find and seek out her backstory. Where does this lady come from? I loved her. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. Until you realize what skeletons in the closet look like, until you realize that this is one crazy ass bitch. But we love Ihi for that. And to me, like, Audition is one of the most important movies ever made. Like, I don't think you could stress it enough of how great this movie is and how much I respect it. It's a perfect horror movie to me. Because again, while it's slow, while it's plotting, while it takes its time, it's a 2-hour movie. And I know a lot of people, I've talked about it with them, they always say, oh, it takes too long. It takes too long. I hear that. To me, this is horror done right, and this is why I love horror movies. Like it's movies like Audition, it's movies like this that really made Takashi Miike a household name here in the States. Like, we didn't know who Takashi Miike was before this, but then it's movies like Visitor Q, it's movies like Gozu, it's his Segment of Three Extremes box, it's his amazing filmography that has lasted throughout the test of time. And to me, this is always the movie that he will be most known for. He could die tomorrow. The headline will be Audition director dies. And we hope that doesn't happen. I'm not trying to be morbid or anything, but like, that's what he'll be remembered for. And same thing with Ishin. It's like, it's one of those things, you can't escape it. You can't escape how important this movie was, how much of a nerve this movie hit. And I think in a lot of ways, this is one of those horror movies that deserves its reputation. I think this is a movie that really earned its status in the horror society and the horror culture. I love Audition. A 10 out of 10 to me, one of the all-time best. But let's see what y'all have to say in the comments, because I've neglected y'all for far too long. There's a Frankenstein one Ito does, which is fantastic. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kiri, Kiri. It's really Kiri, 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 but it does sound like she's saying, here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Kiri, Kiri, Kiri. I love that. I love it. And there's a great interview on this with Ihi where she talks. She says, you know how many times people in the States said it to me? She says she was in a Italian restaurant eating with some friends, and she was in California, and she said that somebody kind of came up to her and went, Kiri, 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 like didn't say hello, didn't say, hey, aren't you the lady for, he just, Kiri, Kiri, Kiri. And she says she hears that all the time when she goes to this state. She was like, it never dawned on me how important that character was until I think she visited the States in like 2008. And then she went to dinner there, and she went to a festival there, and she said like the overwhelming, she was there to promote Tokyo Gore Police, but everybody wanted to talk about Audition. She was like, holy shit, she didn't realize how much this movie meant to people. And now it's to the point where she does conventions now. She's making a buck off of the fans. And I think it's honestly understandable. Like, you should do conventions. Like, that's how good the performance is. Yeah, Iron had that collection. Okay, cool. One day the circus came. Oh, God, more raps. One of the scariest scenes in the movie is when the bag moves. My God, yes. The usage of sound there. Because you're not expecting, like, you see the bag, you're like, okay, what's in the bag? I didn't think it would be a person with their limbs chopped off, and you're boom, boom. And the guy's trying to get out, like, oh my God. When you first see that, I bugged out. I was like, that is scary as hell. God's movie's fucked up. Miike loves to push the extreme between this, Ichi the Killer, and Masters of Horror. Like, Imprint is great. And yes, Ichi the Killer, which came out, I think, the 2001 Ichi the Killer came out, and that's another great Miike film. He's a master. He really is. He's one of the best ever. There's really no denying how great Takashi Miike is. Audition is such a hard watch. Yeah, it is. Piano wire, the guy in the bag eating, I guess, maybe vomit. Yeah, maybe, just maybe, but it was real. Kiri, so good, man. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? They show that scene all the time where the bag moves slightly. So good. Exactly, because you're wondering that what the heck is in that bag. And then once you find out, you're like, no, because you get the idea that there might be something off. You're like, nobody's this good. And then when you know what's going on, you're like, oh no, like it's a very hard revelation, but it's really good. It's a very bad word, but she is damaged goods. Yeah, she is for sure a beautiful lady, that was ruined by this whole thing, that was ruined by it, and then ultimately becomes a monster in and of herself. Just how perfect she was a huge red flag in itself. Yeah, listen, hey, yeah, I hear that, but again, and think about this, think about your own life, think about your own lives, all of you. How many times has somebody come into your life where you're like, man, that's the total pack, that's the person I want to date, that's the person I want to see and pursue. And then, once you get to know them a little bit more, red flags may start to arise, but it's always at first where you're like, that spark, and you see that comes from him. He's like, my God, this woman couldn't be cleaner. He doesn't see it as a red flag like he should. He sees it as how she's presenting it. And I love how that's done. Grande is auditioned with It's Sky Blue. Are you taking the chance? Oh my God, that's a sick question to ask me, especially on camera live. I should have. Okay. I will say this. Sky Blue is the most beautiful woman in pro wrestling. I love her. She has the biggest butt. I love her. I'm a big Sky Blue fan, and I'm absolutely in love. However, she seems very happily together with her boyfriend or whatever. I don't know his damn name. Something Fletch. I don't know. I know she's married to or getting married to that guy, I think. But with that being said, if she wanted to go out on me platonically, like that's one thing or another. But yeah, no, I love Sky Blue. No, I wouldn't do that to anybody. That's you can't. That's just fucking crazy. Like if someone set you up on a blind date and this happens, that I don't see anything that the guy did wrong. However, to audition women like that, when you have power, it's just so immoral. It's so greasy. And when he gets what he gets at the end, it's like, yeah, listen, hey, I don't know if you deserve to get your foot sawed off, but yeah, I mean, you kind of deserved a little bit of a comeuppance. And then it goes to the extreme, as McKay seems to do. Audition is hands down my favorite J-horror movie I've seen. It's so far, if one of my first introductions to foreign horror. It was that way for a lot of people, Miss C. And like, I'm happy that you like the movie a lot too. Like, to me, it introduced so many of us to Japanese horror films. Like, I don't think it was the first for me. I think it would have been one of the Ju-on movies, but it was easily amongst one of the first. Like, I don't think it was the first though, but for most people here in the States, yeah, it was. That was the one that the just totally kind of broke through and hit a nerve with people. Mickey is very extreme in his movies. The other one he did, Dead or Alive. He's done a few Dead or Alive movies or whatever. Yeah, no, that's crazy movie. Limnus Guy, Drink and Vomit was 100. The craziest scene in that movie. Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? In a scene in a movie where it's all remembered for that crazy last scene. It's not even that's even the craziest, which it's like, that's McKay 101. It's like, just when you think it couldn't be crazier. I don't know if anyone has seen Go Zoo from McKay, but if you have, and you know the ladle scene, if you know that scene from Go Zoo, the ladle scene, you know what I mean. If you don't, and you look it up, be prepared, because that's one of the craziest scenes in the history of movies. Joe Mama's in the house. Yo, Joe Mama. I'm not big into slow burn movies, but the payoff in Audition is so worth it. I love how happy she is making these little ticking noises while she's torturing the poor dude. Yeah, it is. It's really, really well done. I love that. She was giving him the acupuncture therapy. Very considerate of her. Oh my God, of course. Very, very well thought out, well thought, thing. Audition and Salo are hard watches for me. Salo is another great movie too. Yeah, I can understand Audition being a hard watch. It is for sure. It's not easy to see at all. They might sew the photo back on. Yes, they might. They just might. Grande makes me think of Oshima's In the Realm of the Senses, sort of, which Japan band, which won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. The female love interest cuts off the male's love interest. PP. Oh boy. So the foot back on. Okay, I was going to say the photo back on. What the heck? I thought that's what you meant, but I wasn't sure. Depends on what it's based on. I have a hard time with that stuff. Really okay, you're talking to him. Doctors might sew his foot back on. Yeah, no, listen, maybe. I don't know. It depends on the doctor, I suppose. But I think psychologically, Curly, I don't think my man's ever going to be the same. I don't think he's ever rebounding from that. Like, that is just absolutely crazy. The Audition is a classic. Yeah, it is. It totally is. There's no denying how great that movie is. X just bores me. I'd rather watch The Omen. I like The Omen better, too. McKay is an extremist, which we love him for that. No, neither one scare me. I'm just more into the Omen movies. I would say I like Omen 1 and 2 more than Exorcist for sure. Kyle Fletcher. Yeah, that's right. He's her boyfriend. That's right. My first J horror was a film called Virus. Okay, I know that movie. Gozu Grande. Gozu. Yes, that's what I'm talking. Gozu was something. So Curly has seen it. Curly knows the ladle scene. Holy shit. That may be his craziest movie. Like, it is amongst his craziest movies. Oh my God, that is a nutty one. We got to review that one day. We totally got to review that. There's some insane torture scenes in Ichi too. Oh, Ichi's insane. The guy who gets his back burned in that scares me to death. On the plus side, worst that probably could happen to Sky Blue would body slam you through a mattress. Yeah, for sure. I'd be all for Sky Blue. Well, Sky Blue is into like the extreme wrestling, so she'd probably throw me through a table or like barbed wire me or something. But hey, if Sky Blue ever becomes single and Sky Blue is down to date, I think Sky Blue is around my age, so we're not out of the age realm there. I don't know. You know what? I don't know how old Sky Blue is. Is Sky Blue older or younger than me? I don't know. Sky Blue wrestler. Sky Blue is, let's see. Sky Blue is 26. Okay, so she'll be 27 and I'll be, so she'll be 27 soon and I'm 29. So yeah, we're in the ballpark. We're less than 3 years apart. So I don't know. If Miss Sky Blue is down, I'm down. I'm down with it. But also at the same time, she has a boyfriend. So if they're happy, that's great. Oh God, I just read the synopsis for Gozu. What the fuck? Yeah. yeah. Trust me, that's a crazy movie. Gozu does no. I'm not going to give it away. Just know the ladle scene. Just keep that in mind and watch Gozu going into it as blind as possible. And that scene will blow you away. She had as a kid as well. Does she really? Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Wow. All right. Baby Blue. I don't know. But Audition, an all-time great. I love this movie. I think this is great. So, and I'm happy. I think it's cool. The Wheel of Torture kind of decided it that way, where we'd end with the best, right? And then the other five, I'd honestly recommend all the other five. Like, don't get me wrong. Is Vanish the greatest movie in the world? No. Is Hang Balloons? I think they're two of the three of the stories are really good. They're definitely middle of the road to above average, some of them, but definitely ones that I'd want to recommend. Like that's the thing to me is like a lot of these, when Japanese horror are reviewed, it's just the same ones over and over, where I'm definitely with the 6 Japanese horror specials now. I hope I've given you guys new ones to check out that feature familiar faces from other said J horrors, your Ko Shibasakis of the world, your Yuki Nakamas of the world, your Chiaki Kuriyamas of the world, Ihishina's, like, et cetera, et cetera. All these actresses, these fresh faces, and then names like Junji Ito, who is an absolute icon to me. So yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. Next week on Grande's Graveyard, it is the vampire special. Yes, where we'll be reviewing one vampire movie from the 60s. What? One vampire movie from the 70s. What? And one vampire movie from the 80s. Yes. Vamp from 1986. Female Vampire from Jess Franco from 1973. And then Brides of Dracula from 1960, I want to say. I forget the year. But yeah, it's 3 vampire horror films and no regrets next week on Grande's Graveyard. So excited to get that on. The J-Horror special was a ton of fun. Only great stream. Thank you so much. On the Graveyard, thank you so much. I appreciate you all checking out the show tonight. Let's see. Peace. Fun time as always, man. Absolutely, man. And enjoy your vacation. I hope you have a great, great vacation. Peace. Throw into the tombstones. Nice. Brides of Dracula. Yeah, that was a request. Mark, the Love Machine, he's like, why don't you ever review Hammer? I was like, I'm not a big Hammer guy. And he got so upset. He was like, you need to watch Hammer Horror now. And I was like, okay. I was like, tell you what, next vampire stream I do, I'll let you pick the vampire movie I talk about for one of them. And he was like, Brides of Dracula. I said, okay. So Brides of Dracula, Jess Franco's Female Vampire with Lena Remey, and Vamp from 1986 with all sorts of great actors like Robert Russler, etc. We'll be breaking out the Arrow edition for that too. So looking forward to it. Awesome show only. I'm glad I got to check out a few movies. Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy. And if any of you checking the replay, comment down below. Let me know what you thought of any of these 6 Japanese horror movies that you're going to be seeing. Throw up a too sweet and you leave me hanging. Did you? I missed it. What? Oh, I'm sorry. I completely just read it too fast. Too sweet. Yes, too sweet. We'll do it. Too sweet, peace, and we will catch you next time only on the Graveyard. Good night, everybody. Cheers to a safe, happy, healthy weekend. And if you're at Fanatics Fest tomorrow, say hi if you see me, because we're going to meet the genius of the sky again. Yo. Io Sky. What a better way to end Japanese Film Week than to meet my favorite Japanese wrestler for the second time in a year. So going to be very cool. But everybody, thank you so much. I love you guys. Cheers. Good night. Cheers to Japan. Good night, guys.